What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good. Oh, let me switch this. So this may cut out for a hot second. I'm just switching this to the wired connection from the Wi-Fi. 1 second. All right. Hopefully it's switched out and okay. All right. I think it's good. All right, cool. All right. Happy Saturday to everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. I hope you guys are, getting through life as best as you can. I know it's supposed to be still little remnants of that wet weather that we was having on the East Coast yesterday, especially in the New York area. They say it's gonna probably clear up in the afternoon sometime, so that's good. But it is what it is, man. It's been, I don't know what's going on. Maybe because the temperatures are milder. It feels like we're getting more rain than ever before. I don't know. But today we got a high of 62. Right now it's currently 59 barometric pressure coming in from the west. Just playing. I don't know. But yeah, so sometime late afternoon. Oh, well, it's a little later now, at least around 6 p.m. But the point is the rain is gonna stop, folks. It won't be here forever. And then it looks like the next 4, 5, maybe even 6 days, no rain. So that's good. It is what it is. Whoa, Wednesday 71, Friday 72 in October. Weather's wild. Weather is wild. Anyway, so today I'm trying to be better about this whole thing and trying to talk on this podcast and getting all congested drinking coffee and stuff. I'm like, you know what? Let me do it like the professionals do it. So we drinking some tea today. I know you can't really see it because the green screen got it all greened out. Of course, it's a green mug, but we rocking the tea today. So it is what it is. Um, Shout out to all of y'all. I appreciate y'all as always. I hope y'all doing well today. And if I'm going to talk about something, I might as well give you an update as well. I had mentioned, I don't know, I mentioned it a couple different times, but I think most recently I mentioned it maybe a month ago or so, maybe around there. I have a coworker that was dealing with cancer, the brain cancer, which is the worst one. It's the same brain cancer that uh now I forgot the famous person who was dealing with it. Maybe it was McCann. Maybe it was. But he's been dealing with that bout for quite some time. And I had told you guys that they gave him only like 6 months to live, and he wound up fighting and fighting, and you know next thing you know, it's 3 years. You know what I mean? So you never can tell. You don't never want to give up on life, and just keep doing what you can. But was it 2 weeks ago? Maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago. I guess he wasn't doing so well and took a turn for the worse. So they wound up sending him to hospice care. And yeah, last night, unfortunately, he passed away. So shout out to my guy, Nate. RIP, my brother. Things ain't going to be the same without you. Um, yeah, so it sucks because, he's a really good dude and he was positive throughout all of this. Always cracking jokes. I mean, he cracks the most inappropriate jokes, but it doesn't matter because that's his spirit, and like just positive throughout everything. Just not stressing it. And it's not even putting on a front. Like some people put on a front, which is good too, because they try to save face for other people and not let people know, what's going on. That's how some people do things. But apparently, even behind closed doors, talking to his loved ones and whatever, he was still that same way, positive, upbeat, just living his life, like not. And it sucks because he has a 20-year-old son, just like I have a 20-year-old son. They're both in college, and it's just a shame. Oh boy. Anyway, let's get back into today's regularly scheduled programming. Once again, R.I.P. Nate. Love you, my brother, and wishing you the best in the afterlife, and hopefully you're not suffering anymore. But we'll watch after your boy, man. Make sure he's straight. Okay, so let me shout out to the chat. Walter Blackman, I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you as always for supporting the show. I hope your day is going well. He said, "Good morning, Ron. Can you keep my family in prayer? We had a house fire on Tuesday morning." Oh my God. If it's not one thing, it's another. Jeez. I'm so sorry to hear that, Walter. Oh man. Prayers to you and your family, and chat. Please show your love and prayers for Walter. Oh man, is this and if I'm correct, this is the new house he just moved into. I don't know if it's been a year. I don't know. Oh man, wow, wow. I'm so sorry to hear that, Walter. I'm wishing you for the best, and hopefully whatever damage can be fixed. I hope you're not displaced because of it. And insurance and stuff can take care of this, and they can figure out what the cause of it was, so that way you don't have to worry about this in the future. But definitely my prayers for you and your family, man. Wow. Man, this is turning out to be a tough day. Dwayne Dennis, I appreciate you, my brother. Good morning to you and yours. Hope you're doing well. D's World of Hoops, what's going on, D? I hope you are doing well. He says, peace and prosperity to the chat. Peace to Ron, SKF, and Walter. Sorry to hear that. Glad to hear everyone is okay. Yeah, definitely. Let me see here. Let me star this. David L, what's good? I appreciate you, my brother. Hope you're doing well. There he is. Wiz, what's good? Hope you're doing well, my brother. Hope everything's going good. Cully, what's good, brother? Hope you're doing well. He said Rudy Gay is available. Just got waived, huh? Oh, my fault, Wiz. He said, let's get this party started quickly, right? Oh, man. Knicks 100, what's good? We kept Roby? I thought we waived Roby. I have to double check that. Shout out to Kerry Cox. Appreciate you, my brother. I hope you're doing well. He says, salute. Peace to the chat. Let's see. Mega, what's good, my brother? I hope you're doing well. He said, what's good, SKF family? Vaughn Allen in the building. What's good? How you doing, brother? White Falcon is in the building. Okay. All right. So I guess they did keep Roby. Kerry Cox is saying it too. Hope you're doing good, White Falcon. Salute to Shaw Powers. What's good, Shaw? Please show your love for Shaw Powers and my guy Divine, Rick, Knicks Real Talk. Show your love to their show. Keep supporting, as well as, I mean, I feel like I don't even have to say it because you know how it is, but also show your love and support for D's World of Hoops and his show as well. If you haven't checked it out, You know what I mean? You're missing something good, man. Definitely gives you good breakdown, good analysis, some humor in there. His shorts are funny. It's a definitely entertaining channel, so you won't be regretting your choice to subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff, man. Will Salkett is in the building. Salute, my brother. Appreciate you. Danny Landis, what's good? He said, Big Ron, good morning, my friend. Hope all is well, bro. Yeah, for the most part, man. But you know, you already heard things happen. Animal Lex is in the building. Salute. What's good, brother? Paris Duggar, what's good? Yeah, thank you, brother. He says blessings to Nate and his family. Yep. Appreciate you, Parrish. Boogie Down BX in the building. Salute, my brother. He said, thank you for the condolences, my brother. Appreciate you. Hit him up is in the building. Salute. What's good, my brother? Hope you're doing well. D Coolest. What's good? The 718. I mean, Brooklyn's finest. Or maybe the Bronx, because I think 718 is the Bronx too. Nick Yak is in the building. Salute, Nick Yak. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Let me star that. I'll come back to it. Okay, I'm gonna start White Falcons as well. All right. Okay, Roby's on an Exhibit 10. All right. Well, I mean, you know, Knicks is messing up my show, man. I didn't know. I didn't know. All right. Knicks Nation 112, where the players dwell. What's good, brother? Hope you're doing well. Always good to see you. All right. All right. So, you know what? Let's do this. Let me just throw this invite out there. You guys are always welcome. You know how it is. And let me hit the intro. We'll come back and chop it up right after that. How's that? Sounds good? Sounds good to me. All right. Also, shout out to anyone who may be watching on Facebook and or Twitch. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for being here. Let me see. Let me see. I wonder why that is. Curious. Might want to start the show with this first, right before we get into the nitty gritty and the meat and potatoes of what we got scheduled. Why do you think the Knicks brought back Roby? Oh, well, you know what? Maybe I just answered my own question. Maybe it was just the fact that let me just think about this for a second. Was Roby on a two-way? Let me check my notes. Let me check my notes. No, he wasn't. Nope. Dylan Windler was on a two-way, or is on a two-way. Jaylin Martin was on a two-way, and Nathan Knight was on a two-way. So what was the point of cutting or waiving Isaiah Roby only to bring him back on an Exhibit 10? Because wasn't he already on an Exhibit 10? I don't know. Somebody's going to have to make that make sense to me. I don't get it. I could understand if he was on a two-way, right? And they cut him right before they have to pay the money because you got to pay that $2 million or whatever it is. And then they brought him back on an Exhibit 10. You save a lot of money and you still give the guy a chance to be on the team. But if he wasn't on a two-way, what's the point? I don't know. I'm confused. I don't get it. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, D. So he was on a non-guaranteed $2 million. Which is kind of the same thing like with the two-way contract because you got to pay them around $2 million or something like that too. So I guess, okay, so it is just about saving money. That's a little slick, underhanded thing. You know, that's these basketball teams do. I don't know. It's kind of, to me, that's kind of whack. Because Jaylin Martin, for example, you could say, all right, you give him this opportunity. He hasn't really done anything to earn it as of yet. He's still in the league trying to work through it. Fine. Nathan Knight, you want to say that he hasn't really played enough to necessarily warrant us keeping him on that offer and we decide to make a move. Fine. Isaiah Roby's put in a little bit more time. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he was making that type of money, $1 million or $2 million, but he was definitely making the NBA minimum and probably got to a point where he got a little bit more. He probably earned over $1 million in the time that he's played. So to kind of save, to nickel and dime Roby seems a little, I don't know, whatever. It's basketball, it's business. I get it. I don't know. Roby seems a little different just as far as his time in the league, but whatever. I listen. If he's okay with it, I'm okay with it. So what are you gonna do? Yeah. No, it definitely is a smart business move. I agree with that, Knicks 100. I just don't understand like Roby. I feel like outside of that too, I'm like, I thought like the Players Association kind of keeps holds teams accountable to a certain thing, a certain standard. Like if a player has some time and tenure, like you know, he's kind of entitled or due a certain amount of money or whatever. I don't know about it how specific can get. It's still just a contract offer, you either accept it or not. I just think, you know, Roby might be a little different. He probably could have been entitled to the $2 million. I mean, what's the big difference between, and I'm not saying going forward, the big difference between what Jericho Sims has done for the Knicks and what Isaiah Roby might do for the Knicks? I don't know. Jericho Sims is making $2 million a year. You know what I mean? I don't know. It is what it is. Okay, where were we? Shout out to SND the Art Man. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for the generous super chat. He says both Grimes and Quickley are very important, but with the addition of Dante DiVincenzo and Hart and the lack of shooting opportunities for Grimes in the starting lineup, I keep Quick. Either start him or Dante at the 2 and move from there. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna flesh this out. This is good talking point right here, S&D. I thank you. And thank you for the generous super chat once again, my brother. I appreciate you. Let me get my guy in here.
Yo.
D.
What's good, guy?
What's up, bro?
Peace to Nate's transformation. By the way, sorry to hear that, sir.
Yeah, man. Thank you. It's kind of one of those things you just continue to hope for the best and the best and the best. You kind of think it's never going to happen, but
yeah,
eventually. But thank you for that, bro.
Yeah, no problem.
I want to start off with. Oh, let me not click that. Oh, first off, before we get into that, so what's your thoughts on the whole Roby thing? I mean, I get it. It's about the saving of the money.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Do you think that maybe he at this point in his career, maybe he is entitled to something like that $2 million, or does it even matter?
Well, I mean, regardless of what our opinion is of it, Knicks didn't think so.
Yeah, well,
so but they did keep him on. Maybe go with the G League or something like that for now, or I'm not sure how that's going to work exactly. But I'm interested to talk about the other two guys that they picked up as well. And talk about that. But yeah, I don't think that's much of a big deal. Look, listen, whether he was going to stay on the non-guaranteed or not, he wasn't going to see the light of day out there.
That is true. That's not changing anything. That is definitely the case. He's not going to be contributing
and
much.
Not because I don't think he deserved it. Or I actually thought he looked pretty decent in preseason. So that's
especially the last game.
And definitely, and he brings size out there. He can stretch the floor, stuff like that. He didn't look too bad defensively. So, I don't know what the Knicks have planned. I have no idea.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and that's kind of. I was surprised when I first heard he was cut to begin with, because in that last game he was like 4 for 6 from 3. I don't know how many points he had, if he had anything else other than the threes, but he looked for the first time that I seen Roby in a Knicks uniform. That was the first time I seen him look comfortable offensively. The first time. So I was kind of surprised. Like, after that performance, you cut him. It was weird, but okay. But it makes sense.
Yeah.
And it also makes sense to me now. Like, okay, he did play pretty well. He looked comfortable. You didn't want to really get rid of him. You're trying to save some money. So that makes more sense to me. Now I'm like, okay, the Knicks is still, looking at basketball for basketball.
And don't forget too, like, they're in the threshold of the first tier of the luxury tax. So, for them to save too, that if they were going to spend later or something like that, maybe they could allocate it to something that they may feel maybe a little bit more fruitful. So we don't know what the determined result of that's going to be, but it's not wrong with saving money.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. That's true. I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes, you get in a situation where you have to kind of nickel and dime, and they're really good at that. Who's it? Brock Aller, the capologist. He always finds a way to save some money here and there somehow for them to be able to do. And it seems like they're always doing that. They always have to figure out a way to come up with some money somehow, whereas they might throw in an extra pick to move somebody so that you take on, the bulk of that contract, stuff like that. So yeah, the Knicks have been doing that since this new Leon Rose.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. So, well, I think, what, before I'd rather jump into that stuff first, because the Grimes Quickley thing might be a meat and potatoes argument. So that might take a lot of the show.
Oh, it will.
I'm sure it will. So let's get into what we thought happened. Now, do I have to remove something here? No, this is fine. So first off, the Knicks waived Jaylin Martin and initially waived Isaiah Roby. We know now that they brought him back. So, I mean, it is what it is. So right now, the Knicks have waived Jaylin Martin, so he's no longer with the team. That two-way position or space is available, whether they choose to use it or not. And then also, we found out most recently that the Knicks waived Nathan Wright. Ooh, hold on. Get my grammar
Nathan
right.
Knight. You almost got it right.
No, hold on. Waived.
Oh, okay.
There we go. The Knicks waived Nathan Knight and signed. Damn it! What is going on? Wow, what did I do this in the pretense? How was I moving? I did this late at night, probably. I'm sure I did. And signed. Okay, and signed. Mamadi DiaKite, or
DiaKite.
I don't know.
Yeah, something like
DiaKite,
that.
something like that. And Brandon Goodwin.
Point guard, 6 feet.
Right. So And Brandon Goodwin has been in the league for a little bit. I feel like his name. I remember the name, and I know he was with the Cavs.
Yeah. He wasn't in the league for like a year or so, but yeah, he was there for about 3 years before that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not totally tripping on that.
No.
So what are your thoughts on? First off, let's start with the the elephant in the room. I mean, a lot of Knicks fans were very excited and happy about the Nathan Knight acquisition and thought that he might be able to do something. And I will say, looking at him as a Knick, he didn't have a chance to really do much. But what I did notice in that last game that I saw him out there, he was moving around pretty well.
Yeah.
And I was kind of surprised because I didn't forget about him, but I didn't really like. It wasn't clicking that was Nathan Knight, and I'm like, who's this guy? Because he was moving like a small forward type out there. And I'm not saying he did a lot in the game. It's just the way he was moving up and down the court. And then I had forgotten Nathan Knight was a lefty. So then when I saw him shooting lefty, I was like, oh, okay, it's Knight. But I don't know. I don't know how I forgot that. But for some reason I thought he was righty. Anyway, so I kind of thought. I was like, okay, well, maybe if they figure out a way to use him, he can add a different element, to the team if they need help. Like if Julius gets in foul trouble or somebody's hurt or whatever, I can see maybe he can spell some minutes. And then he had a post move that he did in one of the games. I don't know if it was that game, and it looked pretty good. I was like, okay, it's a little polished post move. So I don't know. I was thinking he might stick around. But anyway, what's your thoughts on just them waiving Nathan Knight?
Well, Nathan Knight had a little hive going on, and he played some minutes with Minnesota last year, mostly like the end of the beginning of second quarters and stuff like that. When he played about like 30 or something games like that. You see upside. He kind of reminded me of Julius Randle a little bit more athletic.
Yeah.
And then he gets off the ground faster. But didn't really get to see him showcase and stuff like that. And I mean, it's very hard to get inside this league. There's only 450, 460 guys. I mean, so, guys were hoping for him and stuff like that to maybe crack at the backup power forward and stuff like that. I had fiddled with the notion as well during the summer that that could be possible based on how many minutes he did play with Minnesota last year and an already overcrowded front line. So I thought he might get a crack in there. But he never really got that crack.
Right. Well, what they did do was they wound up picking up two guys. First one, Mamadi DiaKite. I don't know. Like I said, that was a tough one for me because I can't necessarily see it, but he is a 6'9", 228-pound forward. He averaged 2.6 points, 1.4 rebounds, and 0.4 assists on 48% shooting from the field. Now, obviously, you guys, I shouldn't even have to say this, but you already know he didn't play a lot. He didn't have a lot of opportunity out there, so it is what it is. I think he was 22 games played. He started 2 of those games, right? And he averaged 8 minutes. He shot 33% from 3 in that time, but on really limited attempts. So it's like these numbers are real. They don't give you any idea into who he really is out there on the court. But what you do know is he didn't warrant getting more minutes over other players on that talented Cleveland roster. They got a lot of good players over there. So, yeah, but he's 6'9", 228. So I don't know. It kind of once again goes back to the whole thing. Was this just a money move? Because he's coming in on an Exhibit 10, similar height to and size to Nathan Knight, but you can let Nathan Knight go and not have to pay him $2 million or whatever. So once again, is it just a money move? I don't know. What do you think, D? Oh, I think you're on mute.
Okay, we're good. Here's the thing about Mamadi, right? I think Mamadi. Yeah, okay. I had to look at it. Okay, here's the thing, right? He's 6'10" with a 7'3" wingspan. Now he's primarily played the center, and he's also played some power forward as well. So I wonder, with Roby going to Exhibit 10, I think that the Knicks are, what's the word I'm looking for? Throwing like a reservation jacket just in case this Oompa Loompa at 4 doesn't work. And at least they still have Roby on the Exhibit 10. They already waived Knight. Now they picked up Mamadi, that's had some NBA experience for the last couple of years and stuff like that. And he is kind of the prototypical size that we are looking for at that power forward. His feet are not too bad. So I even thought maybe some wing, but I might be going too far there. But the point being is that he does fit the size of the wingspan. And so it'll be very interested to see how that works. Because I'm saying, based on preseason, I understand it's his preseason, so I'm not going to be judge, jury, and executioner to it. But I'm just saying that there were discouraging signs of the small ball Oompa Loompa Josh Hart at the 4.
No, it didn't look that great. No, that's true.
So maybe the Knicks are thinking this as well, and maybe just trying to find themselves some safety that's just a case, and then they're able to provide size. And maybe they might do like an in-season tryout type of thing where different guys play like 5 or 7 minutes or 4 or 5 minutes, and they say, hey, you know, in that 4 or 5 minutes, that looked good. Maybe we'll go with it. Yeah. So,
oh man. Well, we'll see. We'll see, because this is interesting. Okay. Now they also signed Brandon Goodwin, and let me just tell you what his numbers looked like. So he is a really? Come on, man. One-stop shopping, guys. One-stop shopping. Gotta make me go somewhere else to get his measurables. Come on, ESPN. What we doing here?
Ron, he's 6 feet.
Oh, well, okay.
He's 6 feet, like a 6'1", 6'2" wingspan, bro.
Oh, okay. All right, nothing too spectacular. And all right, so he's not a deuce with like a 7-foot wingspan. Okay, all right. Yeah. Anyway, so he, he's only already. Oh, okay. I thought he might have been here. Oh no, yeah, okay, I was right. Yeah, is that. When I refresh this page, now it brings up his stuff.
Yeah, he played with Denver, Atlanta, Cleveland. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, cool. I wasn't tripping because I feel like I remembered him. All right. So last season with Cleveland, he was in 36 games. He started 5 games. He averaged around 13.9 minutes per game. Right. He shot 41% from the field, 34.5 from 3, 63% from the free throw line. Ugh. I'm how a guard.
He didn't take too many though. Don't kill
him. But okay. Anyway, 1.9 rebounds per game, 2.5 assists, averaged 4.8 points, so almost 5 points per game in about 14 minutes. You know, obviously his usage was what it was. So once again, on the same Cleveland Cavalier team with all those talented players. So, you know, it is what it is. In the past, he with Atlanta, he had a year where he played 47 games, averaged 5 points, same type of thing, and played around 13 minutes per game. His first season with Atlanta, though, in 2019, he averaged 6 points per game. He shot 93% from the free throw line, a couple more attempts, He averaged around 12 minutes per game in that one, almost 13 in 34 games played. So, yeah, he's had some moments out there, and he's added some value. It's not like he went out there and couldn't hit a brick in the ocean or whatever the hell. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. I'm not big on these sayings, but the point is, he looks like he has some offensive game to him. Maybe with repetition and usage, he can put up some better numbers. It spells. I only think about that in the case of injury. I'm like, if somebody got injured and he's on this squad, could he fill in, somewhat decent? Not to the same extent, but maybe that way we can kind of plug a hole while we look for someone else. So I think he might be okay. What's your thoughts on Brandon Goodwin?
I just don't see him. I mean, don't forget, Mamadi and Brandon are on exhibit 10s as well.
Right. So they may not, they may not be here for a while.
You got it. It might be just like a cup of coffee or a cigarette break, and they're out of here. So, so keep that in mind. But I mean, look, listen. He's played the backup position. He averaged 2.5 assists in his last season. He played because he didn't play last season. So, he's got handle and stuff like that. He could navigate around the pick and roll and stuff of that nature. But unless he's totally destroying guys for their spots, like maybe like a Deuce or something of that nature, I don't really see him in the rotation.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that. I think the Knicks have already kind of shown you their hand, right? The point guard regime is Brunson, Quickley, and if need be, Deuce. And I think that's it. That's where it's going to be. So it is what it is.
Now, to Deuce's credit, he has looked more comfortable this year, but it's still an Achilles heel. His ball handling, his dribbling, and him being able to get to the spots he wants to, him creating a 2-on-1 on the pick and roll and stuff like that, he still can't do it. It's the best that it's resembled to West Virginia, where he was just a guy where he would just kill you off like 1 or 2 dribbles. He'll get into his mid-range. He'll get into his step-backs, which he did that a lot in the preseason. So that was very nice to see. But unfortunately, I just don't think that he's a primary ball handler on any unit, on 3rd unit, 2nd unit. I don't see him as a primary ball handler. That's an issue for him.
No, I 100% agree. I definitely think I mean, I already said what I said my piece about this whole small ball thing and what the Knicks got going on. I don't love it. So they're gonna mess around with it though, because they right now they got no choice. They this is the hand they've been dealt because they created it. So we got to see how they what they do here. Shout out to Paris Duggar.
Paris.
Thank you for the generous super chat. He says we are in Smurf trouble. I like the fact that your super chat is blue as well, so that really kind of ties in. So yeah, I don't know, bro. It is what it is. Let's see. Also, shout out to the chat once again. I think I already shouted you out, but if I did, you're gonna get another shout out. Shout out to Building Blocks. Building Blocks, appreciate you, my brother. Jersey Shore in the building. Salute. What's good? Hope you're doing well. Rebuild NYK is in the building. Salute. I see a lot of different people saying Goodwin has some game. Goodwin can score.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Jiggaman Porto in the building. What's good, Jiggaman? Salute. Happy Saturday to you. Shout out to the whole Morning Brew Sports crew. Keep doing big things over there, brother. I know you guys are about to get into the full swing of things with your content, so I'm looking forward to it. With also the addition of Jerry Ferreira to the crew, so shout out to him. I'm still sad, Proctor. I'm still sad, man. I can't believe they killed you off, but it is what it is. Okay. Shout out to Julian Blum. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you as always for supporting the show.
Julian.
My guy, Drip Moore, the preferred barber of still Knicks fans and the Knicks community, is in the building.
Drip.
Let's go. What's going on, Drip Moore? Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here and showing love as always. Also, shout out to my guy, Long Island Sound. I don't know if I mentioned you already. Long Island, what's good, brother?
If you don't mind, Rob, real quick, let me give a shout out to Alan Alfred, double A now. He's gone on secret agent on us. And also to shout out to Julian Blum as well. Thank you for your contributions and support. I'll shout you guys out on the next show without a doubt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, salute. Good dudes. Let's see. Well, and if so, okay. So Dwayne Dennis said, "Hey guys, this Knick team small lineup will be exploited slash.
Yeah.
Okay, will slash be exploited this year, and if so, someone should be held accountable." Okay, I mean, yeah.
Who should be held accountable? Dwayne,
I mean,
that's for you, big guy.
That's a good question. So I wonder whose idea this is.
Oh, I already know. That's why I'm interested to hear his answer.
Okay. And did I say what's up to Pudge? I think I did. Shout out to Pudge. Appreciate you, brother. Good to see you as always. Let me see. All right. Okay. I think I got everybody. If I missed you, it's not for did I say what's up to JJ? JJ. What's good, JJ? Appreciate you, my brother. Yeah, so if I missed anybody, it's not for lack of trying, you know what I mean? I just missed you. I apologize. So, all right, let's get into the meat and potatoes, man, because Frank Matos in the building. Used to call him Sasso. What's good, Frank? So this is the question that I think is very interesting for the Knicks. I think this is really this is going to say a lot for this team in this season, and I kind of think this is what we should be looking at. I mean, I think this is what the Knicks should be looking at, because it comes down to these two guys. It comes down to money, and it comes down to you already got a bunch of 6'4" guys on this team, and as much as we love and care about our homegrowns, there's going to have to be some changes somewhere. So we got to look at this.
Highlight Andy's comment before you go further.
Oh wait, hold on. Okay, where is he? Andy. Oh shoot. Oh man. Out of all people, Andy, international Andy in the building. Salute, my brother. I appreciate you. I could, but I see. The funny thing is, I seen your name already earlier in the chat, and I swore I shouted you out already. My bad, my brother. You know how we give it up. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for being here. Shout out to Jimmy Henry in the building. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Shout out to Phil Porto. 2/3, 2/4 of Morning Brew Sports. Appreciate you, Phil, and also shout out to Hector. He may not be here right now, but I'll just do it in the meantime. Appreciate you guys. All right, so back to the valuable question: who is more valuable, Quentin Grimes or Emmanuel Quickley? Let's do this just for the sake of providing some type of numbers to the mix. Not that they matter. We're Knicks fans. We kind of know what these guys do. But, you never know. Someone new may be joining the show, looking at it for the first time or whatever, and doesn't really follow the Knicks too closely, but is interested. So I'm going to share my screen, and I will pull up. Let's go with Quentin Grimes first. All right. And these numbers are actually very similar. So this puts one argument to bed about how different they are, because they're not that different. All right, so let's do this. Okay, let me see if I can blow that up and make it a little bigger for you guys.
Be right back.
All right, here we go. So if we're looking, this is Quentin Grimes once again. There he is. You see, I'm not lying to you. 6'4", 210 pounds, 23 years old. All right. So this past season, stop. What? Okay. This past season, Quentin Grimes averaged 11 points per game, 0.7 steals, 0.4 blocks, whatever. Little over 2 assists per game, little over 3 rebounds per game, on 79.6 percent shooting from the free throw line, which is almost 80%, which is a nice step up. As you guys can see, if you just look up, last year he was at 68%, which I thought was atrocious for someone who I think can shoot in this league. So the fact that he got it up to almost 80% shows me a lot. That's good. From three, as much as we used to say, because I'm just going over this again, because the eye test used to tell me that Quentin Grimes missed a lot of shots. Sometimes he was off, but then when he was on, he was on. But when you look at it, 2021, he was 38% from three, which is a good number. 2022-23 season, he's 38 from three. So he's still shooting the same clip, and that's a good, efficient clip. It just I don't know. Sometimes the eye test plays tricks on you, right? From the field, he improved. He shot 40% from the field in 21. In 22-23, he shot 46%, almost 47. And that's in 29.9 minutes played. So the only takeaway I want to say from this real quick is that I guess it surprised me. Like, I understand that Quentin Grimes was a starter. He was out there, but it didn't really feel like he played 30 minutes. And it didn't feel that way because his usage and the way the Knicks use him, and also the way he goes about being aggressive out there on the floor, doesn't seem like he's that big of a focal point of the offense. He doesn't seem like he gets that many shots up. There's some those 3-point averages right there between 2 and almost 6, 2 and 5, whatever. I've seen a lot of the 2 area. Sometimes he doesn't look like he takes a lot of shots. So that's something to kind of think about with regards to Quentin Grimes, because if we need Quentin Grimes to not only be successful and good on the defensive end, but we need him to start exerting himself on the offensive end. So anyway, and that's in 71 games played, guys. Okay, so let's take a look at oh, were you gonna say something, D?
No.
Oh, okay. Let me there we go. Let me just pull up Quickley's numbers real quick. And so we'll look at how, they're somewhat similar. And once again, you can see that's Quickley. All right, no lies here. And he is 6'3", 190 pounds. I don't know if that's accurate now because he's put on a little weight, got a little bigger. So he may not still be 190. That may be original weight, but let's make this a little bigger. Okay, boom. All right, whatever. So Quickley averaged 14.9 points per game, a steal a game, 0.2 blocks, a little over 3 assists a game, a little over 4 rebounds a game, 81.9% from the free throw line, which was kind of his worst year as a Knick. Because you can see previous years he shot 88%, and the year prior to that he shot 89%. So took a little drop off there, and he pretty much had the same level of attempts, if not a little bit more. So maybe just a little bit of focus at the free throw line. Maybe he'll improve on that this year and kind of go back to what we've seen in the first couple seasons. From the 3-point line, he shot 37%, which is an improvement over what he did in 2021. He shot 34%. His rookie season, he shot 38.9, almost 39% from 3. So, interesting. Field goal percentage, he shot 44%, 44.8, which is a big step up. And he, as you can see, he took way more attempts, average between 5 and 11. He did a lot more with the floater game and different things. He worked on his layup package a little bit, getting to the hoop, a little bit more transition, fast break opportunities, things of that nature. 28.9 minutes played. So 29 minutes, right? He started 21 games too. And he played 81 games, almost a whole entire season. So, that's a good sign for Quick. And, when you look at, like I said, when you look at the numbers, Grimes 80%, Quick 81%, almost 82%. Grimes 38% from 3, Quick 37%. I think Grimes was around 41% from, I don't know, I forgot now, from the field, but similar to Quickley from the field. So, from an offensive standpoint, Quickley obviously is a little bit more aggressive when it comes to scoring. And that's why I think, you could look at his numbers. He's also the main ball handler in the second unit of the offense. So he has the ball in his hand, so he can do a little bit more. So you kind of look at that. But so if you flip the, and role reversed and put Grimes in that position, maybe his numbers would go up by osmosis if he had the ball in his hands as the primary. I don't know. But, we go from there. So just the numbers wise, you guys can see there's not a big difference. And defensively, they're both very good defenders. I would say Grimes probably is better on the defensive side of the ball, only because he will guard, some of the better defenders on the opposing teams. Whereas Quickley comes in with the bench unit and then guards the bench unit type players. Of course, they mix and match and put Quickley with starting units as the game goes through, goes on. But for the most part, Grimes guards those guys, so I think he gets the nod. Would you agree with that, D?
Here's the thing, right? And you know how I am. Like, I think it's circumstantial. And this is what I mean by it. Like, I think considering what this season is going to hold, and considering the fact that IQ is in his last season on the rookie contract, and while Grimes still has another 2 years, I would give the edge as far as assessment, not as far as on-court play. As far as assessment of the future, I would say that Quickley would be more looked at this year with a microscope as opposed to Grimes. So, that's why, like, I'm kind of branching out a little bit, but because I'm just looking at the question. And I'm saying I think it's very valuable that we got to decide what the hell we're going to do with IQ, because we don't want to lose it for nothing, and we don't want to overpay him and match somebody's what do you call that, offer, because we don't want to get rid of him for nothing. Now, we could always try to trade him, which I do believe we do have that. But my thing is, why put yourself through all that? So I think it's very important that, they assess this correctly, because you still got a couple of years with Grimes. So, you can still move around with him, places, stuff like that. But here's one thing that I'll give IQ over Grimes. And I was, what's the word I'm looking for? I wasn't happy, I think it's the best word I can come up with. Why does Grimes still look terrified with their basketball in his hand after 2 dribbles? It takes 2, and you see it. Like, he's looking left and right to see who's next to him so he can give that ball up. And that's one thing that, like with Q, even when it could be rather inefficient, especially his assist to turnover ratio, which I already did all that. At least Quick is better. I wouldn't say he could, but he's better at getting his own shot, which I think is very important, which I think something that this team lacks personally. So that's that. But, and plus I put up Q's starting numbers last year when he started in 22 games. The guy was averaging 24 points a game, 5.5 assists, and 5 rebounds. But then at the same time, I take Grimes, where he shot more than 10 shots in 25 games. He averaged almost 18 points. I think it was 3 rebounds and 2.5 assists. And he shot 50% from the field, and he shot 40% from 3. So it's very interesting on how it works. And it really depends on what the coaching staff is going to decide on how it's going to be utilized, depending on whatever situation brings it. I think if they're winning, it will stay Grimes as a starter, and it will say IQ coming off the bench.
I agree.
But if you get off to a 3-5 start or something like that, or you get off to like a 5-11 or something like that, I'm not saying that, I'm just throwing an example out there. They may want to look at a change. And especially if you ever seen Q with the starting lineup, or when he's played minutes with the starting lineup, he still looks for his shot. It doesn't change. Where he just does it more in a catch and shoot, running on pin downs, as opposed to him being a primary ball handler as he would be with the second unit.
Right. Right.
So you got to break this down. And when you break it down, your question is to be determined, TBD.
Well, it's tough. I hear it. That's why I asked it, because I'm like, when I'm thinking about these, when I think about this season, I feel like we got a lot of question marks on this team, and a lot of things that has to be looked at, right? And I've talked about it. I mean, there's some stuff, but to me, this might be the biggest question mark, because we're talking about guys who are homegrown talents, who we're hoping that they transition their game into the next level. And they don't have to be superstars, but they have to go to the next level, because that's the whole thing about acquiring young talent, right? You acquire young talent because you're hoping to develop them and cultivate them so that either they can become stars or they can be very valuable role players in this league. They take that once they reach that level, that's a chess move. I mean, a checker spot. What the hell? I can't even talk today. It's a chess piece. Golly, I'm like, why am I intertwining checkers with chess? Anyway, it's a chess piece that you can kind of move off the board and put to the side. I got this guy. Say it's Quickley. I got Quickley. I know what he can do. We're building with him. Now I got to go look at another position. Where am I going? And I don't necessarily know if the Knicks can say that yet. I know some fans might say, yes, we can do that. I don't know that for certain. I don't know that for certain with Grimes either, because not only do you have to say to yourself, are these the players that can help us get to the next level, win a championship, beat, perennial contenders and all this stuff? The other thing is, like, now you got to pay the money. Grimes is right around the corner. He's not this year, but he's next year. Like, that money that I'm paying, that's why to me, that's what makes it most important, because it's the money. Because once you tie up money in people, now they're a part of your team, and it makes it harder to go get somebody else. Now, could you trade the guy? Yes. Do they have value? These two guys in particular, yeah, they do. So you could probably move them, most likely, no matter what you pay them. And I'm not saying you're going to pay them something crazy, but, whatever they're worth. So it's probably not as big of a deal. These two guys, you could probably move. But, as we already said, depending on how, like depending on how RJ's season is this year, if RJ stinks it up, RJ is going to be very hard to move. Okay. So I'm just saying, like, you want to know what you're putting your money, where it's going. And then also, are you building the team the right way? Is what you've already seen these past 2-3 years, is this, something that is going to at least be this, and can it grow a little bit? Because, like, with Quentin Grimes, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him this year. And it stinks, because he's a young guy. I mean, he's 23, so he's a little older, but he's still, like, young in the league, right? And he's still learning, and he's behind other guys, and he's still trying to figure out how to really understand the speed of the game, in my opinion. Because when I look at Quentin Grimes, they say the speed of the professional sports is fast, right? No matter what sports you're in, everything's faster. With Quentin Grimes, I feel like he already is innate in him. He knows it's fast, but he's too fast. He actually needs to slow down. And it looks like it's really hard for him to kind of slow himself down and get comfortable and get right and into his what makes him who he is. It's the same thing. It's more with him, but it's the same kind of thing we saw with Obi Toppin. Every time Obi Toppin came in, it came in the game. Yeah, that's right. I'm bringing up Obi. Every time Obi came in the game, I would say 7 out of 10 times that first shot was horrific, right? He's all jacked up. He's juiced in. He's getting his first opportunity. He can't line it up. It's just, it's either an air ball or it's a really tough shot, right? It's just, you got to slow yourself down, kind of find your spot in the game. And I think Grimes has that issue. Even when he put up 22 points the other day, when he was featured, you saw those first couple shots he took. His movement was quick. He wasn't lining up right. I'm like, damn it, why is he shooting so quick? Why is he like, it's just Quentin Grimes. It's who he is. And I get it. But he's just to be consistent in this league, I think he's going to have to find some way to just slow himself down a little bit. And then to what D's point was about him with the ball in his hands, just looking comfortable out there. Stop second guessing yourself. At some point, you got to say to yourself, you know what? I'm in the NBA. Not a lot of people make it. I'm here for a reason. I don't care who my coach is. I don't care if he's going to be mad at me if I get a little crazy right here on this play. I know that he needs me out there because I play good defense. I bring other things to the table. Let me just try to play my game and be comfortable. I'll make a decision. If it don't work out, I'll make a better decision next time around. Like, it's also, I think it plays on the confidence level, D. I think, some of these guys are still lacking that overall confidence. And I'm only talking about the young players, because the established guys, they got it. They got their confidence. They don't care. So
I don't think Quickley has a confidence issue.
Yeah. No.
I think it's overconfident.
Yeah, he's different. He's different. He's been like when it like I think you were the first person to say it to me. And I was like, you know what? When I started looking at it, I was like, you're damn right. I didn't look at him that way, but yeah, I think you were the first person to say Quickley is a pit bull. And Tom Thibodeau loves him. You know what I mean? Like, and when I looked at that, I was like, you know what? Yeah, he don't care about nothing. Quickley just goes out there and does him.
Well, he got all puppy in the playoffs.
Well,
which was very disappointing. But he shows signs of it. I think it's the best way to put it.
Yeah. Let me we'll continue this conversation because it's a good one. Let me just say what's up to a couple more people, and then I got a couple super chats I want to get to. Shout out to Big Lou. What's good, Big Lou? Once again, I hope you're doing well. I hope your recovery is still going well and taking it day by day, brother. That's all you can do. But we appreciate you, and I'm happy to see you here. He said, good afternoon, gentlemen, as well as the chat. Next week we start, but we still need to touch up on some areas. Yeah, we're gonna get into an overall concern that I have that I think a lot of Knicks fans it's popping up. We're gonna get into that after the Quickley Grimes talk. Shout out to Ken, appreciate you.
What's up, Ken?
He says Knicks are going to regret trading Obi. Well, I think the Knicks are going to regret not having a backup like an Obi. You know what I mean? Because as much as he was in a bad position to not get playing time behind Julius, having a guy like Obi who can do some different things out there, especially when he's going well, is a benefit. He did do certain things that you can say, like, if he could just hone in and really work on his game and understand like how I can improve on this, that's very valuable. But it is what it is, man. We moved on. So what are you gonna do?
He did himself favors last game, 17-9, 26 minutes, 6 to die for the field. He did himself favors getting some playing time in the early part of the regular season. Yep,
true. Hey, shout out to Geraldine McIver, the first lady of Still Knicks fans and the Knicks community is in the building. Let's go. I'm excited to see Geraldine. I haven't seen you in a minute. I hope things are well.
Word.
I hope you and your husband are doing good, and I hope life is treating you guys both well. Appreciate you. Shout out to Nice. What's good, Nice? Hope you're doing good, my brother. It's been a minute. Hope everything's going good on your end. Mike Boy is in the building. Salute. Appreciate you. And Dunruss Gallman is in the building. What's good, Dunruss? Hope you're doing well. And guys, listen. I mean, do I have to say it?
Yep, you do.
I guess I do. I do have to say it. Please smash that like button. Show your love for the show. You know what I mean? As my guy would say, it's free. It don't cost you nothing. Right. Smash that like button. And here's a little reminder. There you go.
Got 81 watching, only 34 right now. I see. That has to change.
All right. So yeah, please smash that like button. I'll wait.
Might be here a while.
Oh, I'm back. Sorry. Fix the green screen. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So, yeah, man. Thank you guys as always for showing support and love to the show. Really appreciate it. Okay. Now let's get into these super chats. Scroll back down. Oh wait, hold a couple more people. Shout out to Anna Grill. Good to see you, Anna Grill. Hope you're doing well. And man, I'm shouting you out. I don't think I did. Did I shout out Keith Turner? I don't know. Whatever. Keith,
you did not.
Appreciate you, Keith. My God. See, and that's a testament. Some of you guys know who you are, that you've been friends of the show for so long that when I see your name, it's just like, that's family. I'm not even thinking, you know what I mean? I feel like I've already said your name. So that's a testament to you guys, man. Appreciate y'all.
Did you get on Nick Jr.?
No, I don't think I did. Shout out to Mega. Appreciate you. Thanks for putting that up. Nick Jr. Huh. Oh, look at that. Wow. Yeah, I missed that. Nick Jr., what's good? Appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. Salute. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Did you always get the X Productions?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. So shout out to X Productions. I think this might have been the first time me seeing you in the chat. If this is your first time, thank you for being here. Salute to you. And I hope you like the content and continue to come back. So thank you. And he said Randall Brunson don't pass the ball. Yeah, well, you know, that's part of the system. So, you know, and in a lot of cases, they pick and choose their spots, right? Some people might say that they don't pass the ball enough. I'm under the impression that Randall passes the ball just enough. The reason why I say that is because I don't want Randall to have the ball in his hands that much to be able to pass it more. So, you know, Brunson, however, I will say that this year I would love for Brunson to take a little bit of a step forward in not necessarily passing the ball more, but maybe it's passing the ball more, looking for certain guys more, trying to get the guys who have, because I think now, you know, we see their hands. Like some of these guys just can't get their own shot, right? There's some that are obvious. We know that. But like getting guys like Hartenstein involved when he's out there, if he's out there with them, but getting guys like Mitch more involved, right? Because the thing about Mitch is if you start giving Mitch some touches where he can dunk the ball a little bit, do you see how Mitch's game takes an uptick in his overall activeness? Like he's already pretty active out there, but when he starts getting involved in the offensive side of the game and seeing the ball go in the rim a couple times, he's like a demon out there. So you gotta feed your guys, man. Get Mitch involved a little bit, give him a couple lob opportunities. I swear, if the Knicks don't give Mitch the ball and a chance to do a turnaround hook shot or one little post move, I'm gonna be flipping. I'm gonna be flipping. Give him one chance.
We'll get that mattress ready because you're gonna be flipping. Because the only one that gives them the ball is RJ Barrett.
I know it's bad. It's bad, bro. It's bad.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but listen, we made that assessment last year as well, where it's like,
I know
Mitch just looks like a different guy when he's involved, and you know now he's out on the perimeter. Now he just has more energy and stuff like that. I thought he also had a nice preseason as well. Yeah,
yes, he did. So yeah, doing that, and also another guy that I didn't think he really needed to worry about getting, open, but as we can see, it looks like he does. Quentin Grimes. You know, Jaylin Brunson, do whatever you can to kind of get Quentin Grimes going because he looks like he struggles to get it going on his own. I don't know why. The guy was a former point guard. It is what it is. I mean, it's a long time ago, I guess. I don't know.
And guys get on guys like they'll say Brunson or Randall or something like that. That's on Tibbs. That's on.
Oh no, yeah.
That's on Daddy Brunson. That's on Bryant. That's on Yashimoto, whatever. That's all those guys. They have to go ahead and illustrate and put inside their heads. We got to get these guys shots, especially early in the game, because it's going to open up stuff for you guys. Yada yada yada.
And D's absolutely right. And so you guys know my rationale for thinking this way, and the reason why I'm saying that. There's still a lot of like button not smashed over there. I see 41 likes, and there's like 70 something people in here, guys. Smash that like button, please. I say that because we talked about Tibbs. Now he's doing it more. We saw more of it last year, where he's starting to hold guys accountable. Okay, and I guess I kind of feel like part of the reason why that happened is because he was put on the hot seat, right? He was put on the hot seat. He was starting to question his own mortality as being the Knicks coach. And at that point, anything goes. Like, if I don't care, you're my guy, but look, I'm trying to save my job and turn this thing around. If I got to bench you because you're not looking good out there, you're going to get benched. So you started to see him. He benched Julius for one reason, at some point last year. He benched RJ a few times. Then he kind of switched up who he was running out there in the fourth quarters and crunch time. So he started to do some of that, right? But the reason why I say I'm putting it on Jaylin Brunson to do some of these things is because Tibbs ain't gonna tell Jaylin Brunson nothing. So if Jaylin Brunson says I'm passing the ball to Grimes, and getting him open, or I want to throw the ball down to Mitch. Yeah, Tibbs might bark, but in the end, he ain't doing nothing to Jalen Brunson. All these other guys may have to question what Tibbs might do to them. He's doing nothing to Jalen Brunson. So I'm like, Jalen, throw your guys a bone here and there, not too often. Stay within the means of the game and whatever the scope of the game, schematically is. But maybe a couple times, just give these guys a little love because you're one who can do it without the repercussions. That's what I was thinking. Julius could probably do it too, but as I said, once again, do not want the ball in Julius's hands too much. A little too much is no bueno for anybody.
27% ball usage. It's going up this year. So good luck.
I believe that. That's fair. So shout out to Allah Wise. Appreciate you. Good to see you, Allah. Let's see.
I literally saw Tibbs while you do that. I literally saw Tibbs in the last game in the third quarter, and I had the footage. I showed it on the show. He literally went to 3 or 4 straight possessions of Julius Randle ISO in the second half of that third quarter. So that's just a sign of things to come.
I believe it. Shout out to Fly God, the third, aka C_Mac
Mac
in the building. What's good, Mac? Wesley Robinson is here. Salute, brother. How you doing? Appreciate you. And okay, I think I got it.
Is Wesley new?
No, Wesley. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, he always does that.
Gotcha.
He's been around, man. He's a good supporter. Okay, so let me get to these super chats. Julian Blum, thank you, my friend. He said, if we don't replace Obi, he will be missed. He was elusive on the break. His length and his 3-ball will be missed. I mean, listen, I think people downplay Obi's contribution to the team because the perception of Obi has been inflated, right? And there's some people that have a little bit of a warped sense of his value. I'm going to tell you that. Let me say this, and then I'll go into what I'm saying. I think Obi is eventually going to be a 20-point per game scorer in this league comfortably. I think he's going to find his way, and he may even be better than that. Who knows? But I think he's going to eventually be a 20-point per game scorer in this league comfortably and give you that 7 or 8 rebounds, maybe around there, and do some really exciting, fun things out there. He just has to continue to work and learn his game and get the opportunities, and he'll get that because he can score. I don't care what nobody says. When he gets going, he can score. We've seen him put up the points with the Knicks when you feature him. So he's going to get that eventually. That being said, he's no Julius Randle. Okay. So when some people say, let's get rid of Julius and keep Obi, and Obi will give you the same thing as Julius, he will not. He's a different type of player. He's just different. He can score. He can give some things. He gives you value. It's just different. And he hasn't necessarily shown. Now, I will say Obi has come in clutch at certain opportunities with the team, like overall, but that's when the focus is on other guys. So when the defense, like even in the playoffs, Obi's looks pretty good at certain times, but the defense is not focused on Obi. It's focused on the other guys. So then Obi's open in the corner for a wide open shot or to make a move, a cut to the baseline or something like that, maybe get a nice layup or something. But when Obi's in the Julius role, then he's the man, and the defense is cracking down on you and not letting you get to your spots and not giving you a lot of space to get up your 3-point shot. That is when we see who Obi really is. Julius has already been through that gauntlet. We've seen Julius can do what he's got to do. One-on-one, Julius can get his stuff, his shots, what he's got to do. He's just, he's gotten doubled and triple teamed in the past and hasn't always looked that great. Obi needs to continue to work on his ball handling so he can break an opponent down and get to spots on the court, especially when teams are trying to, get the ball out of his hands. Or if they're giving him that open shot, he's got to be able to knock that down consistently. So that's my whole thing. Like, is a value to Obi. I think we will miss him because even though the Knicks are not a high percentage pace team, Obi still helps with regards to transition. Right? We're gonna lose. We got Josh Hart. We don't got a lot of I would say transition, type basketball players. Maybe Dante's good in transition. we'll see. We'll I'm sure he probably is. He's pretty good at a lot of things. So, but Josh Hart is probably the best we got. He can really push the ball and get up and down, and he finds guys. I think he finds guys better in transition than he does in the half court game. So his passing is,
I saw 2 Indiana preseason games this year so far. He still can't play a lick a day of defense.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it has not improved so far. So I'm anticipating that the Indiana Pacers are going to be amongst the top 5, top 7 in offensive categories. And they're also going to be in the top 7 in the worst defensive categories as well, because I don't see them being able to really stop anybody. So unless they decide to go defensive with Jarris Walker or something of that nature, I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, and that is something Obi's going to have to do a lot offensively out there so that he can keep his number in the head coach's mind, because Jarris Walker has a lot of talent. And he's kind of the flip side of Obi. Offensively, he's still got some stuff he's got some game, but he's got to work on a couple things. His shot is not the greatest, but he can do a lot of other things. And so that's where he's different from Obi. So it's an interesting little mix, those two over there. But okay. So thank you once again, Julian, for the super chat. Look at this super chat from Julian once again.
Julian must have been at the casino this weekend.
Yahtzee. He said, you give Grimes in quick minutes on the second unit where you give Grimes quick minutes on the second unit where he is the main offensive player. See how Grimes will flourish.
I think it's worth experimenting. He's still young.
I don't doubt it. I mean, I've said it before, and I think a lot of Knick content creators, I think, might have alluded to it too. I think people believe that as well. I think Emmanuel Quickley is the best 2 guard on this team. I think he really is. But for the way the Knicks are set up and the way some of the players haven't kind of, stepped their game up in certain ways, Tibbs just is reluctant to make that change and put, Quickley as the 2 guard and put Grimes as, because then the fluidity of that second unit, we already complained that we don't have enough ball handling in that second unit, right? With Quickley out there. So you imagine you take Quickley away, then you're dependent on Grimes. And to D's point, once again, Grimes hasn't even looked that comfortable with the ball out there when he's moving around. Like, it's tough for Tibbs to make that call. Now, offensively, just Grimes having the ball in his hands, being able to get shots up, yes, I agree. I think Grimes will definitely look better on that side of it. It's just, you gotta. The Knicks really upset me because they continue to do the same damn thing over and over. We talked about this so many times, D. I want a backup point guard. They have not given me a backup point guard. I don't know what the hell's the problem. It's the craziest thing ever. Indiana's got a log jam over there with all these players, all these guards and forwards. They got their own little cluster. And they still got the guy over there that I wanted the Knicks to get, and you wanted the Knicks to get too.
Of course.
They still got him over there. TJ McCullough is still there. Like, he's still there.
Love him.
You know what I mean? I'll take an Andrew Nembhard. Come on, man. Like, give me something. Whatever. It is.
No, we talking. We got Brandon Goodwin.
Yeah. Well, look, maybe I don't know. Maybe Brandon Goodwin can be some. No, because he's not going to play. What am I talking about? No, he's in an Exhibit 10. Forget Brandon Goodwin. It's not going to happen. No, it's not going to happen. No. Sorry, guys. But that would really help if we had a backup point guard that when the ball is in that person's hands, it's in good hands. That would make a huge difference on that second unit. And then, guess what? Then you could put Quickley in the starting lineup and move Grimes to the 2 for the bench. And you would have no problem because you got somebody with competent hands with the ball who can move it around. And how many times have we seen the Knicks offense look stagnant out there when the second unit comes in?
You talking about preseason?
In general, last year. Yeah, like just seeing how and And sometimes that's even with Quickley out there. But when Quickley wasn't available for whatever reason, man, it was tough. It was tough. That's why
I'm worried how it looked this preseason, to be quite honest.
Oh yeah, well yeah, we're gonna get into that in a minute because there's some question marks, and I know people are thinking. Yeah, but I hear you though. Thank you once again, Julian. Thanks for the generous super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Shout out to D in the building. Salute, D. Appreciate you. He said we need help. Well, I don't want to say he. I mean, it could be she too.
Right.
Yeah, we need help.
He or she's not wrong.
Listen, Andy. Oh, Andy. Look, if you look at, and we already talked about it, right? If you're looking at Quentin Grimes, for example, he's the starting shooting guard. We already looked at his numbers, right? And after looking at those numbers, I showed you Emmanuel Quickley's numbers. First off, those numbers are very similar, but Quickley's numbers are still better, right? Defensively, Grimes, some people give Grimes the nod just because he plays with the starters and, like I said, has to play maybe tougher competition. Maybe. Because, like I said, Quickley gets moved around too. And we've also seen Quickley on the court in the fourth quarter with the starting unit. So he has to pick up on whoever's out there at that time too. There's not a big edge defensively for Grimes over Quickley. There's an edge. I just don't think there's a big edge. So, and then offensively, they're very similar. If not, Quickley's better right now. So, I mean, if I look at the shooting guards on this team, look, it's his preseason, so you don't want to judge everything by that. You need time. But Dante does not look like he's better at shooting guard than Quickley or Grimes to me. I think he maybe he'll get better as the season goes along and it gets more comfortable. Josh Hart is definitely a lot better at shooting guard than those guys. So if we're looking at our team, who's the best shooting guard we got? It's Quickley. I mean, to me, I'm a process of elimination guy. I'm critical thinking. Back in college, I was that guy. Anyway, listen, that's what I did. I just process of eliminated. I got Quickley. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Why don't you look at Andy N's comment, and then I have a rebuttal for you.
Okay. He said, "Salute, Julian."
No,
I saw.
Go on.
Ron, only guilty people explain and defend.
You killed that. I had to expose that one.
Okay, Andy.
And Ron, listen to me very closely. All right, and I'm going to do it in a process of questioning. Did Emmanuel Quickley play Shai Gilgeous-Alexander OKC last year and relegate him to 30-something% shooting throughout the whole course of the game?
No, I don't know. I can't remember. I don't think he did.
He did it. Grimes guarded him.
It was Grimes. That's why I thought this was a trick question. I knew it was Grimes.
Grimes. Okay, since the rabbit's out the hat, right? Grimes also did a good job on Devin Booker last year. He also did a halfway decent job on Jason Tatum. My point is that he guards these premier wing players where I only see IQ guard them in very small stints. So for you to say, right, and it ain't like no beef or like that, but for you to say that he has a big or the edge is not too far defensively.
Maybe it's bigger. Maybe it's bigger.
With that. I'm very sorry, sir.
Well, I was trying to shoot Quickley some bail only because of the fact that I know that in the fourth quarters of games, well, not all games, but some games, especially down the stretch towards the playoff run, Quickley was out there even more than RJ. Like RJ was sometimes relegated to the bench, and he had Quickley out there. So I'm assuming that at that point, Quickley is guarding better players.
But don't forget, Hart came. Hart was guarding those players. Right.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, okay. So, all right. So if that's the case, then the edge is bigger for Grimes defensively. That is true. Because I do know I'm not taking anything away. See, I wasn't even talking about Grimes and who he guards. I already know he guards the better of the players out there. Sometimes the best of the best. It's between him and Hart.
I've always wondered for 4 years, well, 3 years, that why he has it, IQ. And Tibbs always finds a way to take him off that premier player. So for me, that's the result there. And that's why I said earlier, I think Quickley's better at creating his own shot, which the Knicks would need with that lineup. But Grimes guards the premier wing players in this league, and he does it willingly. And so I think that matters. To more to the valuable talk.
Right. So Andy says, my point is IQ can't play with the starters. He has too big of an ego. Grimes is fine with 2 shots a game. IQ already speaking up he wants to start. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's some truth to that. I see where you're saying like he's shown that, but remember, he's been able to show that because look at how he's been used with the Knicks, and he can have more of an ego because he's basically controlling that second unit. When you put him in the starter spot, that ego don't mean anything. First off, Julius Randle ain't letting him get that ego off. You already know that. RJ's not letting him get no ego off, and Jalen Brunson's not letting him get no ego off. So I get it, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Because I think that he's gonna have to fall in line because there's too many bigger ego guys on the team. I'm saying that like, even though he doesn't show an ego like that, but Brunson's got the cachet to say a lot more than what IQ would say, and obviously Julius does. So I just don't think it's that big of a deal, and I also think that I don't think IQ is going to be the same IQ this year as far as his poor shot attempts. Selection. I don't think he's gonna selection. Thank you. That was the word I'm looking for. I don't think he's gonna be as bad with his shot selection as he's been in the past. I think IQ understands that he needs to step up in regards to his efficiency, even though he was pretty efficient, more efficient than I thought.
It's more efficient season, by the way.
Yeah. But I think he'll be better at making these decisions. So it's kind of like we're kind of judging him off of same old IQ. But we can't, because we got to let the season go and see what it becomes first before we know, he's doing the exact same thing. So give him a shot to see how his game translates overall. Give him 10 games in the season, see how he's playing. Look at how he's looking out there. Is he taking wild shots again? Because once again, I'm going to go back to this, and I hate to be that guy because I don't think it's a combination of the coach and the players. Tibbs has a lot to do with this. If IQ's taking bad shots, it's because Tibbs is allowing him to. We Correct. Can be mad at IQ. Correct. Tibbs is the one letting him do it.
Yeah,
that's my biggest point. Like I don't. Tibbs there's a lot of habits there, maybe not as many as there were before. There's a lot but there are some habits on this team that Tibbs is allowing these guys to get away with that he should clean up. Now we'll see what happens going into the season. We are, and when I say habits, I don't have to go down the line, but the crazy going for points in the fourth quarter, allowing RJ to go up 1-on-3 instead of passing the ball to his teammates. Instead of me hearing Obi, I should be hearing RJ. Like, tell RJ to start passing the damn ball, like stuff like that. And once again, I'm just talking about what's happened in the past. I will say, in fairness, this preseason, I feel like RJ's been trying to move the ball more. So I hope that translates into the regular season. But I feel like he's been a little bit more willing to pass the ball. That being said, I'm going to say that RJ needs to kind of keep himself in check too, because I did see something. And this is how we got out. I don't know how we got into this, but I want to bring it up now because I haven't had a chance to talk about it. I did see something in either the last preseason game or the third preseason game that I didn't like. It was small, it was quick, but I didn't like it. He made a pass to Jericho Sims, and Jericho Sims fumbled the ball or whatever he did. He missed the pass. He wasn't in the spot. RJ thought he was going to cut or be at a certain spot, and Jericho moved. And RJ was disgusted. I'm like, yo, bro, I mean, come on. It happens. It happens. You're not it was not like it was the greatest pass, but I understand. But it's not like he led Jericho there with his eyes, like, like he didn't do anything. He just expected. Like RJ got caught up in a spot, passed the ball to a certain spot because he assumed Jericho was there because he was just there, and then Jericho wasn't there. That's part on RJ too. So, but RJ's face was like he was disgusted. I was like, yo, what is wrong with this guy? I was like, yeah, that was a little bit much. So I'm just looking at that because I think I'm into the window of a person's mindset, and I hope RJ doesn't pick up those type of traits this year. Still be into the team player mode, but you don't start getting that, because RJ to me hasn't done enough in this league for him to start looking down at his teammates like, come on, man. Like you're lesser and you're not doing what we need you to do, because RJ's got some explaining to do on that end too. That's all I'm saying. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. So
I'll add something else to that. What was the last time Sims ever played 4 in his life?
Right. That's right. Damn it.
And he's a non-stretch 4 as well, because when was the last time Jericho Sims took a jump shot beyond 16, 15 feet?
It's a lot, and I was thinking that at the time and I forgot it. And I thank you for bringing that up. But that's why it's good to, to be chopping it up with other people that can see things.
No doubt.
Yeah, man. Like that was another thing. I was like, yo, I'm like, Jericho ain't even used to being out there with you guys like that. You got him in this situation. You're trying to pass him the ball in an offensive standpoint. I don't know. It was just wild to see that. I was like, come on, RJ, you got to do better. Let me see here. Shout out to Kareem Grant. What up, twin? What's good, my brother? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you as always. Let me see. Okay. All right. Travel vibes. There you go. Travel vibes. What's good? Appreciate you. All right. So back to this. Wait, Andy says, throwing out some more hot take stuff. He said that's why he wants to go to the Spurs or anywhere where they don't have a legit point guard.
So I told Andy just to come in.
Yeah, right. You should just come in, Andy. What you doing out there in the streets? I know you're probably busy. Maybe you got something going on with the kids or whatever, but I'm going to put the link out there anyway for you or for anyone else who wants to jump in.
Dude, you said IQ was the best shooting guard and he stopped everything. The parties are all right. The international business expenses are at all. I
got you, Andy. Listen, okay, but I still think, once again, I live by that. I still think IQ is the best shooting guard on this team. Shooting guard, defense. For what D pointed out, for the ability to do both and to affect us as a roster who is kind of not so great defensively, especially on the perimeter, with having Jalen Brunson in the backcourt and RJ Barrett at the wing position. Grimes might be necessary for this current Knicks team. So when you look at it like that, Grimes might be the best option for that point, because if you take Grimes out of that, who is guarding the top players on the other team, and you put Quickley, who hasn't been doing it and maybe not doing it to that level, you could find that this could turn into something wild out there. Because then you're talking no defense from Brunson, no defense from RJ, scattered defense from Julius. That's rough if you're not getting that same type of defensive intensity from that 2-guard spot that Grimes is bringing. Not that Quickley will be a slouch out there, but the other thing is Quickley don't have the reps. I talked about this in rookie seasons for a lot of these guys. Like, they're good defensively. Wait till they start to understand these players that they go up against. They see them on a continued basis. They start to know where they like to pick their spots. And it makes a big difference. You start to anticipate better and figure out their tendencies. You become a better defender. Grimes he's starting to get that. He's played these guys a lot throughout the league. He's starting to get that. Quickley still hasn't, because he wasn't in that position. So he would have to still learn that. So he's going to get cooked sometimes. So, yeah, things like that are important. Things like that are important. The other thing is confidence level. I just feel like Quickley is a much more confident player. And when you ask him to be in that position, I feel like he'll let it fly, let it go without hesitation. And if you need buckets, you see that Quickley can get buckets with that second unit. Sometimes the first unit, the starters are a little stagnant out there. If Brunson is great, but when Brunson don't have his shot going, he tries to do other little things. We need something. RJ has to step up. Sometimes RJ's off as well, or the combination of Julius. You need a little something. You need a little something. So we definitely got to figure out what works best. Right now, I think nothing's going to change. Quickley is the bench guy. Grimes is the start. I just said in the perfect world, I would like to have Grimes on the bench and Quickley as that 2 guard. Like if we have Mikal Bridges at 3, or someone who plays defense at the 3, a true 3-and-D type guy, I want Quickley at the 2. My opinion.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Tibbs will look at DiVincenzo before he looks at that.
Oh no, I know he will. Because to me, I think he already has Quickley as the solidified backup point guard who runs that second unit. It's not changing for him. I know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out
to your RJ point, real quick.
Oh yeah.
I'm very sorry. He shot low 30s again in the preseason from 3. Big problem. Sorry. Go ahead.
And well, I mean, it's a big problem for Thibodeau, and it's a big problem for RJ. For Ron, I've said it already. RJ, stop taking so many threes. Start working on your 2 game. Can we see a long 2? I don't care if it's only 2 points. I'd rather see the long 2 than that short 3 that you're not even consistently hitting. Just work on the 2 game, man. The other day, there was a pull-up. RJ came down on a break transition. It was a pull-up, and he hit a 2. I was like clapping. I was shocked. I said, this is what I'm talking about. I should see more of that. Because I actually wasn't even sure he was going to hit it. And then he hit it, and I was like, yeah, see, I know it. He could do it. It was good to see. So hopefully he continues to do that. Stop. If the 3 is open and you're wide open, you got to let it fly. But there's some games that, some opportunities that RJ is sort of contested. I would try to put the ball on the floor and pull up for a 2 or take it all the way to the rack. But don't settle for that 3, because right now the 3 game is not you. It may be something that you work on in the future, because we've seen guys who weren't great 3-point shooters, the Jason Kidds of the world, the Blake Griffins of the world, other guys like that who weren't great at shooting threes and became better at it. But they did it. It took them a lot of time to get there. They practiced for a long time. So it takes a minute. Shout out to Valves BTW. I guess that may be Valves, by the way. I don't know. Shout out to you. Hey, what's up to you? Thank you for tuning in. And hopefully you like and comment on the show. And feel free to always come back. And hope you like the content. But smash that like button while you're here. Guys, once again, if you don't remember, I'll remind you. Smash that like button. Show your love for the show, man. Appreciate you, man.
And new guys like Val's, make sure you guys subscribe as well and spread that good word.
Yes. Thank you. Hey, was he here earlier? No, he wasn't. Sherwin's in the building. Sherwin, what's good? Appreciate you, Sherwin. Hope you're doing well.
But back to RJ. Listen, he's got to shoot because there's spacing issues. You got a guy, he's shooting under 35%. Julius Randle shooting under 35%. Mitch is not a floor spacer. Brunson was very good in the regular season, but his 3-point shooting dipped in the playoffs. But, I mean, he was just killing it at will off the bounce, so that didn't matter. But you're going to see him take the threes because they need spacing.
Yeah, that's true. Let's talk about this, because this gets into a lot of what we've seen in the preseason, and there's some concern here. So why don't we get into the outlook on the season opener versus Boston? But while looking at the outlook, we can talk about what we've seen in the preseason and what bothers us. And hopefully they can clean that up going forward, getting into the regular season. So I'll start. Defense. The defense just has been very sporadic. I think the showing against Washington was very telling. Now, Jordan Poole was on complete fire, right? But so was
Delano Banton.
Delano Banton, the brother, You know, the NBA brothers. What's the what the hell's his name? From I think he played with Memphis last year. The point guard. Tyus Jones. He was on fire. Like, it goes back to the you know, the Knicks have that Achilles heel, and it's always there. It doesn't go away. I don't care who they bring in. You bring in Dante DiVincenzo, who's not the greatest defender, but he's pretty good on defense. You got Josh Hart out there. He was out there. He plays good defense. Quentin Grimes, who we already talked about how good he is defensively. Emmanuel Quickley should be able to play defense against these type of guys pretty good from the perimeter. We get lit up on the perimeter. I don't get it. What is wrong with our defense? Why can't we stop guys on the perimeter? It's crazy. And it doesn't matter who we play. It doesn't matter. They just light us up. Minnesota lit us up as a team.
I don't know. Preseason team has lit us up.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's crazy to me. I understand that like Thibodeau has a certain style of defense, and it has worked out for the most part. Like throughout the regular seasons, he's had success doing it. When you get into the playoffs, we got exposed. Miami exposed us. Cleveland tried to do it, but they couldn't execute it properly. They had some good moments too. Let's not forget. You know, Donovan Mitchell had some moments where he lit us up. Garland lit us up from the perimeter. We one game, Okereke. No, it wasn't Okereke. I don't know. It was one of those guys who does. Maybe it was Okereke. One of those guys. No, it was the dude who used to play with the Nets and with Indiana. What is his name? I can't remember.
I'm shooting guard. What are you trying to say?
His name was what? It starts with a C. Karis LeVert.
Oh, LeVert. Okay.
Karis LeVert lit us up one game. Like, it goes back to that perimeter defense. We keep getting exposed for it all the time. It just keeps happening, and we haven't really made a good adjustment. I don't care. Like, I'm sure Tibbs got something in his bag that he can say, listen, this is our set defense. This is how we have it, but let's just deviate for a little bit to do this. Give them a different look, right? So that maybe it stops them from taking so many threes. You revert back to your original defensive sets. And you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just showing them, okay, this is what we're going to do to combat you shooting so many threes, right? And then stop it, right? Because you want to get back into your defensive sets because that's how you play. And then maybe that slows them down where they're not pulling as much. They're not gunning as much. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I think it could be like certain like defensive principles. Like, I'll show you a pure example. I showed it on the show. Like, you don't go drop when you have a bad perimeter defender involved in the pick and roll coverage. But it's done anyway. And it's done no matter who's guarding. It could be RJ, it could be Julius, it could be Jaylin Brunson. It's dropped. So, and that's just something that's like very weird. Another thing that you saw in the preseason too, and you saw it last year too, is that you have guards and you got help guys stuck in the paint way too long defensively. So it takes them a very long time, or they're what's the word I'm looking for? They're delayed in getting out there to recover on that 3-point line. I think it's a schematic thing, and it's something that they're going to have to get fixed up. Because even Dante looks a little lost on it, and he's been terrible. His on-ball defense has been fine, but he's looked terrible on closeout defense and rotational help. So he's got burned a lot. I had a clip with him and what's his name, and Josh Hart. They were getting killed by bigs on the closeout. Wow. Muscala and 75.
Oh yeah,
Danilo Gallinari. That's a problem.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
I remember now when you said Muscala, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He was cooking too. Oh yeah, man. Yeah. Oh shoot. Julian Blum caught me out there. Hey man, why are you exposing me, B? You caught that. You caught. You know what I did? I wouldn't even notice I did it until you said it. Who's the guy on Cleveland? The defensive young guy that doesn't play a lot. He can only shoot from he's a 3-and-D type guy for them. Oh, what the hell is his name? I got his last name. I can't think of it. Anyway, Okereke is the linebacker for the New York Giants. I don't know why I threw his name out there. Whatever. Okogie. What is his name? Okogie? I don't know. Whatever. Okoro.
That's who you were talking about?
Oh my God, I butchered that. Yeah. I hit him with the Okareki, the Okoji. Okay, don't mind me, people. I don't know where I got Okareki from.
Don't be Ron's teammate in charades. Jeez.
But listen. I'll remember your face though. Okay, I'll see you. We could be trapped in you know, in the forest trying to get away from the militia. Oh, okay. That's I see you, D. I remember your face.
I do that too, bro. Wait, what was his? I knew exactly what he looked like. What would she look like?
Yeah, I'm horrible with names, even with people I've grown up with that I've known for years. I say what's up to somebody, and this is so bad. I don't know why I'm saying this. I say what's up to somebody like almost every week, and I cannot remember his name. But I'm like, yeah, what up? I know him. It is what it is. Oh boy. Okay, so thank you, Cully. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you, Alawise. Yeah, man. I don't know how I forgot Okoro. But yeah, but this is something that's been continuing to happen, right? The other thing that the Knicks need to clean up, okay, spacing on the court doesn't seem great. Spacing doesn't seem great, and there is not a lot of fluidity in the Knicks offense right now. Now I know it's preseason, but I kind of feel like there's no fluidity whatsoever. I know they're running their sets. I don't really see it. Now, maybe it could be they're just going out there running certain things and just seeing how it looks. And when we get into the regular season, after these practices they're having right now, it'll be cleaned up. I don't know. Because one thing the Knicks have been able to do well is score the basketball. They're not the greatest at shooting, but, you know, when you can score over 100 points consistently, and I think they were around 104, 105 consistently last year, you can score. So I'm assuming they'll get that right. I'm more concerned about the defensive side. But I didn't like the fact that the spacing looked a little clunky out there too. And that could also be remnants of Thibodeau trying to experiment with different lineups early in the first two games. He's kind of changed it in the last two, but still maybe that some of that lingers. Like the guys just got to get used to what they see out there and get comfortable maybe. I don't know. But
Ron, the problem is that it's with the starting five as well.
No, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I mean. Part of it, because he was throwing Jericho out there with that starting unit, and I think that kind of it made things real clunky in those first two games. Now, in the second two games, you go back to what the norm is, but I think maybe it's just that they just haven't had enough time playing with each other to get that. It'll only be like a game or two, and I think they'll be rocking. I think they'll be fine.
I mean, listen, you mentioned it earlier. You mentioned, I think it was a couple of weeks back, you mentioned about that, you know, one of the things that you see them getting off to a good start in the first 15, 20 is the fact that this is basically the same team from last year with the addition of Dante.
Right.
So it hasn't looked like it so far. I mean, Wally Zerbiak even had to call it out. Fourth quarter, last Wizards game, he said, it seems to me that the Wizards look together on a string. All five guys. The Knicks don't look connected.
Right.
And I said, wow, that's a big statement. So something to look for.
Frank Monto said Lake Okeechobee. Okeechobee. Yeah, I was on fire. I'm Okoro, Okugi, Okekere. Yeah, I'm all over the place.
Is that a real lake?
Maybe. It sounds like it could be. Yeah. So yeah, I think they'll be fine, but I was expecting for them to have a little bit more continuity and be a little bit more comfortable out there. So maybe after a game or two, they'll get it back. People will understand their spots and know where they need to be, and we'll start to see them gelling.
Yeah, and it is a lake. It's in Florida.
Look at that.
What's up, Frank?
Hi, you know what I mean? Hey, wait, that's not Witness Protection Lake, is it? You shouldn't be kind of shouting those out. Brooklyn Butch in the building. Salute. What's good, Brooklyn? Look at this guy. Supreme System Lord Chop Low in the building. What's good, man? How you been?
Good, Chop.
It's been a minute. Yeah, so and shout out to Nick Yak. I think I already said what's up, but I'll say what's up again. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I think that those are a couple concerns for me. The other thing is, and I'm gonna leave that for D because I know he'll point it out. Yeah, I mean, Well, the small lineup, you know. Yeah, it's like
it's all right.
It's funky, man. It's funky. It doesn't look good. There was a point where I watched them versus Boston, and Josh Hart and was it Emmanuel Quickley or Quentin Grimes? I can't remember. It was one of them. So both of them there fighting for a rebound, and Jason Tatum just swooped right in, barely jumped, grabbed the rebound over both of them, and put it right back up. It looked disgusting. I was disgusted at it. I was like, this is horrible. I don't want to see a lot of that. And he was starting to big boy them a little bit. That's the problem. Like, that is a real problem for me. I don't know. Like, I think small lineups make sense when you're playing a team that's playing small lineups, right? But it also has to be with the personnel out there too. Like, you could be small at center, but if everybody else, if you're like your power forward is 6'10" and your small forward is 6'8" and your shooting guard is 6'7", that's a different type of small lineup. You can still be at a disadvantage. You know what I mean? Like, I just got to be relative to what you got going on out there. And I just think the Knicks need to be really smart about how they go about this new style of playing basketball. Because I don't necessarily, and I actually think I've already said I thought that the Knicks should kind of consider going backwards. Stop with the small lineup so much, and let's start, getting the bigger lineup again.
Mm-hmm.
And really, like, what's the Knicks' biggest asset on the team? Our biggest strength, rebounding. To me, we rebound better than most teams in the league. I think we're top 5.
4th offensively last year, 7th defensively. Might not look that way this year.
So wait, average. So average would be 5th or 6th, right? Like, yeah, average would probably be
5, 6, something like that.
Okay, all right. So yeah, that was our strength. And you to your point, it might not look that way this year. So yeah, I don't know, man. Those are my initial concerns. There's other things that I'm going to be concerned about all year, but I think we'll see what it is. It'll get cleaned up or it won't, but we'll know what it is as we go forward. Your thoughts, D? What ails you about this Knicks team?
I think your concerns were completely legitimate, and it's not, like I said, it's not judge, jury, and executioner to this because it's preseason. But there are, they call that indicating signs, and indications of things that may come, and the only reason why it's not like, okay, they were good at containing the 3-point line last season and we just saw this through preseason. I'll be like, we'll see what happens. But what makes it concerning is that they weren't good at it last season either, and that's including the playoffs. So that's a concern. On-ball containment was a concern last season, and it's looked pretty crappy so far in the preseason as far as their on-ball. Everybody that took a piece at Poole had his way. It didn't matter whether it was Grimes. It didn't matter if it was Josh Hart. It didn't matter if it was Dante DiVincenzo. Dante was going under screens. I mentioned about guys doing the scouting report and making sure that the coaches are doing the scouting report as well. You don't go under screens on Jordan Poole. If you're in a pick and roll with Jordan Poole, you don't play drop on Jordan Poole because he's very effective in that mid-range area. So there are certain things that have to be cleaned up with that. They have time. They have a week. If you're not ready to go this season and really prove the point that last year was it a one-year fluke, you need not to get minutes on this team. And you need to go ahead and take your butt somewhere else and just ask the organization to go ahead and move to wherever the hell you want, because this is the year, bro. It's a very important year. And I know the roster don't look like it, and I agree. But I'm saying based on expectations from last season and based on what they did, I think it is very important that you come out right. I think it's very important that you make a statement this year in saying that the Knicks are back. We're here to be competitive. I think it's very important for them to do that, because if you have a subpar season, right, that's a step back. That's called a regression. So that means with regression, that means changes. And I'm ready to tell you, they take a step back, you already know the first person that's going, bro. You already know who it is.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So knowing that, very important what they do.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So, you know, it's things you want to see. Listen, what you saw offensively in the preseason is what you saw offensively last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same juice. Okay. You know, Tibbs runs horns, doesn't really execute the fullness of what horns could be. He just goes into ISO. He runs sets, and if it breaks down, ISO. There's no like option 4, there's no option 5. There's only 3 options if you look at the possessions. And then it goes into ISO. So I'm saying that teams are going to pick up on that. Let's be real. Nobody. And I love Jaylin Brunson. Ron, you know it. I was like the first one endorsing Jaylin. He's going to be wonderful. He's going to be great. Right? But nobody saw that coming. And I think teams are going to be prepared. And I'm not saying Jaylin can't do it. I'm just saying that teams are going to be prepared. And we know damn well Jaylin Brunson had a 30% ball usage last year, just about. And it was 30% in the playoffs. So the ball runs through him a lot. And, you know, guys about him not passing, he averaged 6.2 assists last season with the usage, which is not bad. Okay. And he still averaged 6 assists just about in the playoffs with his usage going higher. So I mentioned it, an evolution with him is, can he kill and still be able to facilitate while he's killing? And I think that will be his evolution. I think it will make his game a lot easier for him. But at the same time, I don't think Tibbs endorses those type of things. Right. If anybody that knows Tibbs and has seen him for 4 years and has followed his career and stuff like that, his top 3 ball usage players, they go ISO. So he's encouraging them, kill him. Kill him. Mm-hmm. We'll run this and then we'll isolate it, kill him. And so you're going to expect to see the same things offensively. The Knicks mission, the things that we want, right? Like them being 10th or 11th in assists as a team, that's not going to happen. You know, them being top 10, top 15 and assists to field goals made, that's not going to happen. Tibbs maybe going a little bit of a quicker pace to be around 19th, 18th of the league. I don't see that happening. And the only way you might see things happening is if they get off to a bad start with the Tibbs style from last year. Then they would be forced to change things around. But I don't see any changes with that early on. I think you're going to see the same thing. I think Dante helps in the sense that he does have an extra on-ball defender. So just in case, for example, this is where I got worried about Grimes moving into the season, where it's like if Grimes is not playing well offensively, there is nothing stopping Tom Thibodeau to say, I'm going with Dante. Because he does just about the same exact things. Except that Dante can slide into the PG spot a little bit more than Grimes ever could at this moment in time, because Grimes is terrified of the basketball after 2 or 3 dribbles. So it's those things you got to look for, but, you know, you want to plug them up. You want to get them right, because the first 10 games is a nice test. It's a nice test to see what the teams are. You see, you look last year, you would say, well, that Spurs game, that's a win. Well, that wasn't the case last season, and that's not going to be the case this season either. So, you know, you got to be very careful. Maybe the Hornets, because now the thing with Miles Bridges happening and stuff like that, I don't know if the team's going to let him back. I'm not sure how that's going down. But besides those two, you're looking at a pretty tough schedule. I'm not saying they can't win. I'm just saying that these things that we saw in preseason are going to have to be plugged up. Dwayne Dennis said, I'm worried. But, I mean, I can understand your concern. But I still think it's very important for us as a fan base. It's very important not to backtrack and not to backpedal. I think it's very important as a fan base to the organization, to James Dolan, to the coaching staff, and our highest paid players as well. Hold them to the standard of them being better than they were last season. Because whether it's true or not, right, you still got to hold them to the standard because I swear to God, God damn it, somebody has to be held accountable. And it can't be Tibbs being the scapegoat. And that's me not being the biggest Tibbs fan, but that's wrong too. The front office has to get some of this barbecue too, bro. They got to get some of this room and slide them over and spray the oil on the grill to put them on, because they are the ones that put the team together. And Tibbs said, okay, no. And he just has a say at the table. So I think it's very important that we do. And hopefully we have a great season.
I mean, listen, that yeah, it's fair. We got. I'm hoping for the best, but there, there's some question marks. There's definitely some question marks, and what we've seen so far, I'm just hoping, like I said, continuity, consistency, all that good stuff. That togetherness that this team should have, being that most of them are coming back, only is an issue for the first or second game of the season, and then we get it going. Now, as you can see, Sherwin put up, he said, Ron, let's look at our first 10 games. We can go 1-9. I agree that, but I don't want to base it, because I don't want to base what I saw in this preseason as that this is what it's going to be for the first 10 games of the regular season. I do think there might be some carryover from the preseason to the first or second game, because it's about, getting comfortable out there, figuring out what the hell you did right last year and getting back to those principles, and also still getting your legs underneath you, getting that game shape and game speed, and getting comfortable. Because like Julius, he still has to get, he had some moments out there, but he didn't look like, I wouldn't necessarily say Julius is ready yet. So getting him right. Brunson didn't have the greatest preseason, but he didn't play a lot, you know what I mean? But when he was out there, his shooting was a little sporadic. So just getting him right where he needs to be. And then going from there and seeing how they look out there. But I don't think it's something they can fix right away. There'll be moments. Now, out the gate, I had us already beating Boston, right? Because I thought Boston was going to have a little moment where they're still trying to get their continuity and their familiarity with each other. And I thought the Knicks could capitalize on that. That first game, just catch them. You know what I mean? Just while Boston may be a step slow. The way the Knicks looked in the last preseason game, I don't know. Boston might be able to pull that game out now. So I'm hoping the Knicks can surprise me. But now my thought process has shifted. I think Boston might look better coming out the gate in that first game. So you know what? Let me put it up. Since you brought it up, Sherwin, why not? Why not?
Before, hold up. 1-9. Listen, if that happens, Sherwin, James Dolan will hold a press conference, right? Like he did with Steve Mills and Scott Perry, right? And there will be changes after that 10th game, if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I could see that being the case, because you did keep, and we don't know. The other thing is we don't even know the behind the scenes stuff. Like we don't know what the front office wanted to do and what Tibbs wanted to do. Maybe I'm just speculating. Maybe Tibbs wanted to keep a lot of these guys intact and bring in Dante. You know what I mean? Because Jaylin wanted it and wanted to get that type of thing. And he was like, I could use a guy like Dante. Maybe the front office wanted to make some different types of changes. Who knows? Maybe Scott Perry wanted to make some different types of changes. That's why Scott Perry decided a while ago, I'm going to step away because we're not going in the direction I think we should go. Who knows? Who knows? It's all interesting questions that we'll probably never get the answers to, but speculate. Shout out to Paris Duggar. Thank you for the generous super chat, Paris. Appreciate you. He said, friendly reminder, the Quickley Obi dynamic won games. It did. It did. There was moments, and they played well off of each other initially, and at different times. But as time went on, even Quickley and Obi didn't necessarily look like they had that same type of togetherness that they used to. There was times out there where Obi was calling for the ball and Quickley wasn't passing him. Remember, we initially said that Quickley had an issue because he only passed it to Obi. He had tunnel vision. That has since changed, but I think in the fact of it changing, sometimes, there's some negative things that happen with it. And I think it was all a spiral. It spiraled. I think it was all a kind of cluster of things. Quickley didn't pass the ball to Obi the way he used to. RJ wasn't passing the ball to Obi the way he would dictate it because he was wide open, and RJ's going up 1-on-3. He's getting into issues with Tibbs. Tibbs is barking at him, and Obi wants to play, and he's not getting the playing time. I think it was a cluster of a lot of different things happening out there on the court that kind of led to this separation between Obi and the Knicks. So here we go. Let me drop this down for a second so that we can see this better. And I think I already blew it up. So guys, I mean, hopefully you can see that. This is the best it is. Where the hell is it? Yeah, that's as big as I can blow it up. So this is the first. Whoa, 2, 4, 6, 8. Nope, sorry. 10. So this is the first 10 games. As you can see, we opened the gate with Boston, right? That's on Wednesday. Then Atlanta, then New Orleans, then Cleveland, back-to-back, home and home. Then Milwaukee, then LA, then San Antonio, the Wimbayama Rama, then Charlotte. Why did this happen again? This is so annoying. And then Boston again.
Those are the first 10, right?
Yep. That's it's not a great first 10 to come out the gate with. But I will say this is something to keep in back of your mind, Knicks fans. If the Knicks can hold their own and come out of this stretch at 500 or better, that's
a win. Yeah.
That is a win, and I think the Knicks are going to look really good for the season because the Knicks schedule has a lot of meat and potatoes early, and then there's a pause, and then there's more meat and potatoes early, right?
Well, let's look at it.
Well, okay.
Here, right?
So you go through that 10, right? And then, I'm just going to pull it up. So, but you can kind of look. So the first of the next 10. So game 11 is against Atlanta. And we played Atlanta. Oh, man.
For real.
Yeah. So then you got Atlanta, then Washington, then Charlotte, then Minnesota. Like, these are games that, I mean, outside of what we just saw Washington do to us in the preseason, the Knicks should get fat here. Even with Atlanta, the Knicks should be able to win these games. But whatever. Then you go into Miami.
Don't forget, that's a road trip, Ron.
Right. Yeah, but this is still a road trip. Like, you know what I mean? This is one of those, we could win this.
But also, too, the Knicks were a very good road team last year as well.
Right.
So they're not a stranger to this. Right.
And when you look at these games, really the only road team is Minnesota because Charlotte is Knicks Central, Washington's Knicks Central, Atlanta's Knicks Central. The contingent of Knicks fans in these spots is crazy. Yeah. So it's not as bad. But, Minnesota is definitely a real road game. So then you got Miami, Phoenix, Charlotte again. Phoenix is going to be interesting. Detroit, Toronto back-to-back, Utah, and I think that might be 10. That's probably around 10 right there, right? So in this 10, I think the Knicks can come out of there with a 500 or better record out of that second 10.
I agree.
Yeah. So then you go, let's see. Go the hell. That went quick. Utah. Yeah, Utah.
So they start a road trip there with Utah, Phoenix, LA, and Los Angeles. That's a nice one.
Oh, shoot. Why is it? This sucks. I'm just going to leave it here because the mouse is acting funky. So Utah, right. Phoenix, LA, and Los Angeles. That's going to be tough. Then you got Brooklyn, and I know as much as we don't like Brooklyn, you gotta respect Brooklyn because we don't know what type of team they're going to be or how they're going to play. And if Ben Simmons is actually playing more like the Ben Simmons of old, as far as the rebounding, the assists, the steals, doing that type of stuff, he's going to be a problem, and that'll make them a problem. So you just got to look at it like that.
Well, they constructed that team for him.
Right.
He's got nothing but 3-point shooters around him that can stretch the floor. So that except for Claxton. So that was detailed for him on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Then you get Milwaukee back-to-back. That's going to be tough. Then Oklahoma City, which is going to be tough because Oklahoma City's got some good talent over there. And then you got
playoff bound this year.
Oklahoma, yeah. I could see them sneaking in. They were my dark horse team to be good this year. Yeah. Orlando, do I have to say it? Orlando's always an issue for the Knicks.
And the young core looks very good, by the way.
And then Indiana. So that's another 10 right there.
That 10 is tough. And especially that it starts off on the road. No, it's all except for the Milwaukee's. The Milwaukee games are home and home, are back-to-back home and home games.
Yeah, they've done some weird stuff with the scheduling this year. Like you wouldn't see the traditional home and home. They're doing home at the same team's home. It's weird. It's not just for the Knicks. I saw it. Somebody else was talking about it. It's odd. I don't know.
I've never seen that.
It's weird. It's weird. Oh, you know what? And this actually could be around the new tournament too. This might be around the tournament time.
Ron, can you help me? Can you explain to me what in the living hell is the point of this damn in-season tournament?
I really don't know. I was trying to find it out myself. We covered it on the NBA wrap up, or maybe it was the NBA report before we switched. We looked at it. We looked at how they had it set up. But I don't get the point of it. I know the winning team, I guess, all the players get like $500,000 or something like that. So it really does benefit the role players on your team. This money that they could really use. So, I mean, I guess wait, hold on.
So wait. Hold on. Let's examine that, right? So let's say it's for the role players, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 500G. So you got to chop that between the role players. Let's just say that's 5 guys. And it's more than that, but let's just say 5.
No. It's per.
Oh, it's per. Oh,
per.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I mean, for some of these guys, that's a weekend.
That's what I'm saying. Like, for some of these guys, it's not going to matter. But for your role players, they might be like, yo, 500 G's, I could use that. Like, they might, ball out. So maybe it's just to see if they can upset the competitive balance a little bit by throwing some incentive in there and see how it dictates the play on the court. I don't know. I really don't know what is the point of this tournament, D. I still don't know. So I'm just as lost as you. And if anybody in the chat knows, if y'all researched it or you saw something somewhere, please let me know because I still don't know. I don't know.
I thought it was going to be like a draft pick or like, I don't know. I don't know. That sounds pointless to me.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. Shout out to David Smith in the chat. Appreciate you. I see you, Coach Sire. Coach Sire in the building. What's good? Kevin Middleton is here. Salute.
Kevin, it's good.
Yeah, I think I got everybody else. If I missed you, once again, my apologies. Not for lack of trying though. Okay, so so that's the next 10 there, right? Then what we got after that? So Utah to Indiana, that's 10. Then we got Minnesota.
Wait, hold on though. So that's 30 games you just went over, right?
Yeah, I just went through 30 games.
So that's a quarter. Just a little bit more than a quarter of the season,
right? And this is kind of tough. This last the last whatever in the 30. So from game 21 to game 30, that's a tough. We already went through Utah to Indiana. That's not going to be easy. So this is also tough, right? So this is like I said early in the season. That's why I gave Knicks a lot of hope because I thought their continuity would win out. But this is still going to be tough. I'm not saying they're going to be running through the league. This is going to be tough. But okay, let's keep going because you see why I say that and where we're going with it. Hopefully. All right. So Indiana, boom. So Minnesota starts game 31, right? And so Minnesota, then Chicago, then Philadelphia, then Washington, then Portland, then Dallas, then Memphis, Orlando, and Houston. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 10. Houston's 10. So Indiana, Minnesota, Chicago, Philadelphia, Washington, Portland, Dallas, Memphis. So Memphis could be a loss. Dallas could be a loss. Could be. Not saying it will be. Philadelphia is iffy, but that also could be a loss. And Chicago, we don't know who Chicago is, but, you know, we'll see. I think the Knicks could go 500 or better in this 10.
Wow.
And I mean better by 1. Like, they could go 6-4
in the first time.
Yeah.
That would be a big W.
Yeah. Yeah, because Orlando, like we already talked about Orlando matching up with the Knicks and it being tough, but Orlando's not going to get them every time, you know. So maybe this is the time the Knicks get Orlando. You know what I mean? So that would be the give us that extra edge. But I think the Knicks can beat Indiana. I know Minnesota's always iffy, but I think the Knicks could beat Minnesota possibly. I'll hold on to Minnesota because the Twin Towers makes it a little tough. So I'm thinking Indiana, Chicago, Washington, Portland, and Orlando. Those are 5. So that's why I think the Knicks can go 500. The other ones are iffy. Mm-hmm. But, you know, this is what's going to really these are the type of games that are going to make or break this Knicks team. Like we'll really see what they're made of. Yeah. We'll see if they got the cojones, man. If they start beating the Philadelphias, like we think they're better than Philadelphia. A lot of people think they're better than Philadelphia with everything that's going on over there. We'll see. You know, if they surprise Memphis or Dallas and take one of those games, that'll be, you know, something to build off of. All right. So then Houston, right? Come on. Fucking mouse sucks. You see what I'm saying? Washington, right? Okay, so the next game's Washington, right? Washington, Toronto, Brooklyn, Denver. That's a loss most likely. Washington, Toronto, Brooklyn, Denver, Miami could be a loss. Maybe we beat them earlier in the season. Maybe we lose this one. Who knows? I don't know. Charlotte. Wow. Charlotte is a get-right team, man. We could get fat against Charlotte. Utah, Indiana, Los Angeles. All right, hold on. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then Memphis. So that's the next 10. Game 40 through 50, 41 through 50. Those ones against Los Angeles and Memphis are going to be tough once again. Indiana, I would say we've already, by this point, this will be the 3rd time we're playing Indiana. Indiana might get one of these games, you know. Mm-hmm. Utah, I think Utah's come back down to earth. I think Utah is not a team that the Knicks should have to worry about.
Really?
Yeah, because I just think that their highs from last year was so great for how they finished the season. I don't know. I mean, they got Keontae. We'll see what he turns into. I mean, we got to see. I got to take a look at their roster, but they're going to have to kind of show improve for me to say that they're going to beat the Knicks. I need to see what they can do out there first. But they're going to be improved, I think. Charlotte, we know they're in flux. Miami, I'm one of those few people that I'm not as worried about Miami as other people. I think actually losing Vincent and Strus and whoever else they lost, they traded. They just traded Oladipo. Not that Oladipo makes a big difference, but he did play some minutes for them. He had some value. I just think they're different. And some of the guys they kept, Duncan Robinson doesn't scare me. I don't know. I got question marks about Miami. Once they get into the playoffs, that's different. But I think this might be the one year that other teams might step up and Miami might not make the playoffs, my opinion, unless they make a trade. Because I also think Kyle Lowry's fool's gold. I don't trust him. But that's just me. Yeah. So this is another one. If I'm just looking at it, try to be a Nick Homer. let's just say the worst case scenario: lost to Memphis, lost to the Lakers, lost to Indiana because we got them before. That's 3. Lost to Denver. That's 4. Maybe a loss to Toronto, Brooklyn, or Miami. I don't think we lose to all of them, but maybe one of these teams gets a sneak by. I think the Knicks can go 5 out of 10 in this one too.
Okay. That's a lot of crystal ball action you're doing there.
Hey man, because
can you give me some lotto numbers with that while you're at it? So maybe I could.
I'm just saying they did win 47 games last year, and they beat up on some teams that we thought were better than them. So I'm just giving them a little bit of bail, and maybe they could do some stuff again this year. We'll see. It's gonna be really important to see how they start off the season.
I just put this in the chat. Empire Sports Media. They declare that the Knicks have the number 18th ranked strength of schedule for 23-24.
Really?
Yep.
Well, maybe as we get closer to what's next, we'll see. All right. So now we get past that. Is that right?
It's not letting me put it in though.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Dallas, Indiana, Houston, Orlando, Philadelphia, Boston, Detroit, New Orleans, Golden State, and Cleveland. 2, 4, 6, 8. No, it stops at Golden State. So games 51 through 60. Oh.
Yeah, Ron, I'm gonna set it to you because it's not letting me do it.
Okay. All right, no problem. I'll put it up there. So Dallas, Indiana, Houston, Orlando, Philadelphia, Boston, Detroit, New Orleans, Golden State, and Cleveland. Oh no, that is 10. I'm tripping. Yeah, Memphis is the last one from the last. So okay, Dallas would be game 51. Yeah, this could be another one that's interesting. What do you think about this 10?
Go ahead.
Dallas, Indiana, Houston, Orlando, Philadelphia, Boston, Detroit, New Orleans, Golden State, Cleveland.
Let's see what you're seeing that. Okay, I see that. Yeah, this doesn't look like the number 18th strength of schedule to me. Good point. Yeah, I don't know.
Dallas could be a loss. Philly could be a loss. Boston could be a loss. Golden State could be a loss. Cleveland could be a loss. That's 5. New Orleans might sweep in and that's 6. Knicks could go 4 and 6 in this 10. Yikes.
I mean, the way you're speaking of a 500 team when it's all said and done.
I am
from your predictions here.
I am, but hold on. This is why I said it is weird, but if the Knicks play above that throughout and that's what they're going to need to do to change perception and change what they look like out there. They're going to have to steal some of those games throughout those 10s that we've already went through. But if we look at the last month or so of the season here, so Golden State, Cleveland, right? Here we go. That was fast. Golden State, Cleveland, right? Atlanta. I always tell you, I think the Knicks could beat Atlanta every time they play them. That's just my opinion, right? Atlanta, Orlando, Philadelphia back-to-back. I feel like whenever you see a back-to-back against a team that you match up somewhat well against, you can get one of these games. They might get the other. All right. Portland, Sacramento will be tough. Golden State will be tough. Denver will be tough. Then you got Brooklyn and Detroit. I think that's the 10, or did I go crazy? I might have went crazy. I'm not sure. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, Detroit was 10. Good job, Ron. All right. So that's 10. And this 10, Sacramento could be a loss. They're tough. Golden State, know what Golden State you're getting. So this could be a loss, even though we beat Golden State last year. But don't know what Golden State we're getting yet. Denver, they were the reigning champions, so I'm going to give them the dub. Brooklyn, we're not going to beat Brooklyn all the time. So maybe Brooklyn gets this one. Maybe Brooklyn gets another. Who knows? Then you got Detroit. I think the Knicks should always be in position to beat Detroit, my opinion. Atlanta, as I said about Atlanta already. Orlando, I think the Knicks should be, if they play Orlando 4 times, the Knicks should win 3 out of 4, but they could go 2 out of 4. Who knows? And then the Philadelphia, we said the split. Portland, I don't know. Portland's a good, they got a good starting core, but they got some young players. I think the Knicks' experience level and the way they play will win out. Plus, whenever Josh Hart plays his old team, I feel like he has an edge. I don't know. They love Josh Hart, so I feel like he's got that edge over them. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking at there, right? And then, Toronto, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Miami, Sacramento, Chicago, Milwaukee, Chicago, Boston, Brooklyn, Chicago. I don't know. To me, I just think it's tough for me to say because I'm used to seeing these names and thinking there's teams that we got to worry about. But when I first went through this, I just felt like the Knicks are better than some of these teams. I think the Knicks are better than the Knicks are better than Chicago. I think the Knicks are better than Brooklyn. I think the Knicks are better than Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I even think, dare I say it, and I know it sounds blasphemous, guys, I think the Knicks are better than Miami. I do. I think Miami was better coached. I think Julius wasn't 100%. I think they exposed Grimes, so we couldn't get anything out of him, really. I think he needs to make an adjustment. I think Quickley didn't have a good series against them. He was coming back from injury. He came back late in the Cleveland series, I think, but he should have been healthy enough to play out there. So I'm not going to give him that bail. I'll give Julius the bail because he got hurt again against Miami. But yeah, I think we didn't have 2 contributing factors to our team. I think a healthy Julius would have went a long way. He played a couple good games against them, but continuity for him as well matters. And I just think that we could have beat Miami had things been a little different. And right now on paper, I still think we're better than Miami. They have a better coach though, but I think we're better than them. And maybe having that better coach is the difference. We'll see.
Well, we said the same thing about him last year.
True.
So let's keep that in mind. Jamie Watkins looks like he was literally born out of his mom's uterus to play in a Miami Heat uniform. So, I expect him to be part of the rotation. I think Jovic is going to have a little bit of a bigger role this year. We'll see how he develops. I would always keep him on guard. As you said, they're very well coached, and that goes a very, very long way.
I agree. They're tough. They're a tough team, man, because you just don't know. Miami is like, and I'm telling you, another reason why I say this is because regular season Miami, with a lot of the guys over there, especially Jimmy Butler, they don't care about the regular season. Just want to win enough to get to the postseason and then get busy. So, I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, and that's the other thing. That's the other thing about Miami, and it's a good point that you bring up, D, because every year I don't think they're that good. They find players that play their style of basketball and really buy in. I mean, before we knew about Vincent and Strus, who the hell were they? You know what I mean? Right. They find guys that play into what they're trying to do out there. So maybe they've done it again. That's why they're okay with trading Oladipo, getting rid of Strus, and getting rid of Vincent.
Watch out for guys like Highsmith. He might get more minutes with them this year. Watch out for a guy called Kane. I can't remember his first name right now. Gabe Kane or something like that. Mm-hmm. He looked very good for them. So expect to see him somewhere. They just have a knack of just like, who's this guy? Which street court is he from? All right, we could work with it. No. But, they just do a good job of finding talent. And
right.
Never count them out.
Yeah, and I see what this is going to be interesting, guys. I don't know. Let me stop sharing now. I'm disgusted. Sherwin says the Detroit roster, Bagley, Wiseman, Cunningham, Sir Thompson, Ivy, Duren, Burks, Harris, Bogdanovich. It's not a pushover. You're right. It's not. It isn't. But they're still a young team, right? And I have come to the realization that I don't care how much talent it looks like on paper. If they're young, they still have a ways to go. Because I thought Houston was going to be fantastic last year. They were far from fantastic. That young talent is just so much young talent. You know, they gotta learn how to play in the league. You know,
yeah,
and we'll see. But they're not going to be pushovers. You know, if the Knicks take them lightly, yeah, that team could beat them. That team right there could definitely beat the Knicks if they don't take them, you know, like an NBA team and do what they got to do against them. Yeah. But that's with any team. You got to every night you got to take it seriously.
I was going to tell you too. There was another team that I'm surprised you didn't mention. So I don't know if you're in the thoughts there. I'm going to expose it right now. You didn't mention Cleveland.
Am I bugging out, or did I not see Cleveland? I feel like I only seen Cleveland twice, but then maybe they were
because we played them early, maybe, and you
maybe that's what it was.
I mean, you went into 2026 with this schedule, so
no, because
but you didn't mention Cleveland, so I was surprised.
Yeah, because in a lot of that stuff, like when I'm saying that I think the Knicks can go 500 or better, a lot of times I'm kind of giving L's to those good teams. Not that the Knicks will lose to them, but I'm kind of giving them the proverbial L and worrying about the teams that I think that the Knicks need to focus on beating. So I kind of give Knicks the L against Cleveland, but I'm not saying that they will beat them all the time. But it's just a way of me kind of looking at it a little bit more fairly. Like, they're not going to win every game, so let me give them these L's.
Yeah. So
but Cleveland's going to be a problem.
I was going to say, do you think that the Knicks are a better team than Cleveland right now?
No. Whoa. I think the Knicks are right there with Cleveland. So I know a lot of people, we've been talking about this for a bit, a couple Saturdays already. I think people have the Knicks being better than Cleveland. I think the Knicks are right there with Cleveland. So it's kind of like 1A, 1B. You can't take away the fact that Cleveland was one of the better defensive teams in the league, number one going into the playoffs. And they've got offensive firepower. And now they've added three-point shooting. I can't take that away from them. So I'm going to say that the Knicks can be better than them, but I think right now Cleveland's got the edge on paper because they check a lot of boxes. The Knicks can't shoot, and now Cleveland can. You got Donovan Mitchell, who shoots pretty good from three. Yeah. Garland, who shoots pretty good from three. You added Strus, who shoots great from three. You added the dude from Milwaukee, who shoots great from three. Like, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Well, you know, I thought they did a good job of plugging in their holes, and which was to get shooting and a little bit more and defense at the same time at that. Even when they had a core for defense, but they didn't have the shooting. So now they have both. With Niang, Niang is an average. Niang. Yeah, he's a pretty decent defender, and so is Strus. He's okay. He's not the best, but he's not the worst either. So their thing is that they're going to have to, and this is something with us, especially that we see them early. We'll be very interested to see, is Evan Mobley going to primarily play that five? Because I think the Allen and the Mobley experiment should be done just based on what they did last season in the playoffs. So they're going to have to figure that out because they have to put more shooting on the floor. If they do that, I'm interested to see how we will adapt to that. That's a good question, Sherwin. You want to go first, one?
Yeah, because I'm quick. Yes.
and I'm wrong with it. So not sure.
Yeah. So there you go. All right. Yeah, I just think that Toronto is that they're an in-between team right now. They're not going for it and they're not rebuilding. They're somewhere in between right now, still trying to figure out what they're going to do here. And I kind of think that maybe their GM is looking at them and saying, well, if we get off to a nice start and look like we're hanging with a lot of the top teams in the league, then maybe we might make another little run at it. Add, not go crazy with the bank, but like maybe add a piece or two that can kind of fill out the roster to give them a nice little playoff run. But if not, then I think they might blow the whole thing up.
I thought too, like, the guy they only lost was Fred VanVleet, and he got replaced with Dennis Schroeder. So I thought that was a really good pickup. And I think Schroeder's game kind of fits what they want to do a little bit better because Fred VanVleet was very ball dominant. And that's something that Ime Udoka is going to have to work with when he's there in Houston. But Barnes has looked very good this preseason.
Did he? I haven't followed them in the
Yeah.
preseason. They're the one team that I haven't really seen a lot of.
Yeah, he looked good. And that's the swing. And Sherwin, if you remember, when I had the show about the Eastern Conference Finals, I mentioned if Barnes can hit, that's a completely different thing. But if Barnes was inconsistent and subpar like he was last season in the sophomore slump, then you could expect just about the same results as they had last
year. Yeah.
And he added Poto. And you got Poto for a full year now.
Oh, they did get Poto. Maybe they're okay. Maybe they're better than I thought. I still think the Knicks are better. It's my own opinion.
But Sherman's right. They all look good. He's correct.
Yeah. That's you know what? For whatever reason, why did I forget they got Poto? Poto is a good player, and yeah, so they might be okay. All right, then that changes my thought. Sorry about that. I will say they're better than I thought. They're not necessarily in between. They're still in the midst to compete. So yeah, they're there. I still think the Knicks can be better than them, but Nick Yak says Siakam is disgruntled. He is. I know that that's going on over there. I think there's also a little bit of an issue with Gary Trent Jr. Not disgruntled, but he's not happy about something over there. I was reading something the other, and I stopped. I got caught up with something else. So there's something there. But and we don't know what the hell's going on with OG Anunoby. He'll play. He'll be what it is. But being in constant trade speculation and still being on the team, I don't know what happens with that. But they'll be fine. And obviously, you guys know that we'll never trade with the Toronto Raptors as long as their GM is still there. So let's just forget those pipe dreams. Those Toronto Raptor players may go somewhere else, but not to the Knicks. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean it's the Knicks are always every year it's the same thing for the Knicks. They got a lot of question marks. There's going to be a lot of things like, are the Knicks good or better than these teams? We don't know. We're just going to have to see. Shout out to Paris Duggar. Thank you for the generous super chat. He says the point is to expose choke artists early like JR. Well, I don't know. After I want to say that Julius Randle has to prove himself still. We know that. But after going back and looking at that Miami series and seeing that he really did have two good games. He had a third passable game, but two really good games against Miami. This wasn't enough because we weren't getting enough from other players on the team at the time, outside of Brunson and maybe whatever RJ was giving us. But you need more in the playoffs, especially when the defense is collapsing and they're bombing threes on you. You got to keep up. And we just didn't get enough. But I'm going to say Julius played better in that Miami series than I thought he did. So maybe he's turning the corner. He just needs another run at it. Maybe this year, if we make it to the playoffs, we'll see Julius Randle, a healthy Julius Randle, for what we're used to seeing him do out there. We'll see. We'll see. If we get there. I hope we will. So I don't know, man.
Well, Tibbs in the press conferences, he alluded to it. So that tells you that the organization and the coaching staff is very well aware. They alluded to it, that we're going to have more challenges this year than we had last season. And he also mentioned about the early part of the schedule. So they're very aware of what's going on. It's just a matter of execution at this point.
Yeah. And the other thing that I've been saying for the last month, I hope it doesn't happen right now, but it could happen at any moment. One or a couple of these young teams could take that next step. That whole thing that we're always talking about, talent and expectations, and we haven't seen it yet. At some point, it's going to happen. At some point, a Detroit is going to start playing better than you expect, or Indiana is going to start running around doing some things in the league, or Orlando will figure out that cluster that they've got at their guard position and start playing some really good consistent ball. And then you're like, oh, okay, these teams are starting, they might have arrived now. When that happens, which it could be this year, that's going to make everything even tougher. And that changes everything for not just the Knicks, but for everybody. So there might be some parity there too, that we start to see certain teams that are used to being here start to drop down a little bit, or, we'll see. I don't know. I'm worried about that. I'm not ready for that yet.
Yeah.
Wait, Sherwin says Ron Randall can score 100 points with 50 rebounds.
I don't read that,
say
bro.
something. No, he caught me. Now he caught me. I didn't know where he was going with this, man. Jeez. You guys love to go back and forth with each other. I mean, I think you guys were brothers separated at birth. Really, Sherwin, you and Parrish, fun guys, bro. Okay, so let's take a look at this, guys. Just a couple real quick things before we get out of here. So let me ask this while I'm pulling this up. A question that I had put out there is, but now it's not the same question either, because they did keep Roby. So when I thought they had got rid of Roby and Nathan Knight, right, and Jaylin Martin, and they signed DiaKite and Goodwin, I was wondering, what are they preparing for? Because they're trying to save these $2 million at different intervals here. Like, what are they preparing for a bigger move? What do you think about that, D? Do you think that's a possibility?
I think it should always be a possibility. Look for key dates like after December 15th and stuff like that, because some players that are signed could be traded at that point, like Keita Bates Diop for Phoenix, stuff like that. So, I mean, listen, you're not a finished product by any shape or form of the imagination. So you always got to be looking. And if you got to free up some space and stuff like that to go ahead and do it, or small moves and stuff like that, then you go ahead and do that. But the Knicks should never, their front office should never have their foot off the pedal in order to getting this team better and getting it stronger, especially this year, especially if they want to look to keep Tibbs around and stuff like that. Because I would say it again, if starts going array and going in different directions, Tibbs is going to be a scapegoat. And if that's their boy, they would want to try to avoid that.
Yeah, no, I believe you are correct. So guys, listen, I didn't mention this as of yet, but I want to let you know, because if you don't already know, there is something going on today. That's right. There is an NBK kickoff session tonight at Legends. So if you happen to be in the New York area tonight from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. at 6 West 33rd Street. That's right, Legends NYC. There is an NBK kickoff. It's free of charge. Just come down. Going to be a podcast and just talking about expectations for the season. But more importantly, it's just a time for fellow Knicks fans to kind of get together and chill a little bit and just, have a good time. So by all means, you are welcome to attend. Once again, that's 7 p.m. to 11 p.m., 6 West 33rd Street at Legends NYC NBK kickoff. There's that. All right. And being that we're talking about different things for the season, so this sucks because I'm really excited for these two things right here, but they may not be real because I haven't seen them anywhere else yet. There's a leak of Knicks jerseys going around town, and this is what they look like. All right, so that's one, which I think actually looks pretty good.
You have the dark color?
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is pretty good. It's interesting because it also has a blue inside, which is different. But yeah, if the Knicks were to add this to the mix of jerseys they got, I'd be okay with it. All right, and then they've got the navy joint. Oof.
That's tight.
That's the one. Like, if that's real, I'm gonna have to dig into the piggy bank. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is that's the one for me. So we'll see if it's real.
No black and orange.
I have not seen any black and orange, brother. Those are the only
black or orange.
There's the only two that I've seen that I haven't seen if they're actually real or not. But apparently they are. But we'll see. But then there is one that is real. Now I might have to just show. I don't know. There's a good picture of it. Maybe there is. let's see. This I don't think this looks that great. There's a better picture, but I can't find it right now. So let me just share. Let me share screen with this X, formerly known as the artist formerly known as. All right, here we go. Okay, let's share screen. And this is real because they got somebody, this espionage is like James Bond. Somebody took some video of Brunson and Josh Hart wearing them. I'm like, okay, I don't know what the hell's going on here in this Knicks community. It's wild. So maybe some of you have seen this. If you haven't, here we go. As you can see, and those look very similar to Knick uniform, Knick stuff that you've seen in the past. Let me go. Oh, okay. So it's really quick, but look at that. You could see it's pretty much the same. It's got the same type of Knick piping down the sides, that black piping, got the orange color. But if you look at the New York logo, notice how it's kind of there's a white over orange. So there's orange New York, and then the New York in white is on top of it. So it kind of shows like a little bit of a 3D-ish type look to it. And so those are obviously new uniforms that they are wearing. I don't know if these are called the city ones or if they're the statement ones. I have no clue. To me, the one that I just showed, the white one and those navy blue, look more like statement jerseys. This looks like it could be the city jersey, but who knows?
I'm with Knicks 100 on this. I think the other jerseys look way better.
I agree. I think they're fire compared to this. So, but of course, that's not the one I see a Knick player wearing. So that's how it is. We'll see what's real in the end, man. But I hope they are real because I think they're pretty cool. You know, Knicks sometimes, you know, throw something out there that the fans enjoy. So, yeah, I mean, and that's pretty much it, guys. That's my show. That's what I got for today. pretty good. But outside of that, just because we kind of talked about the expectations for the season, but let's go back to real quick Wednesday's game against Boston. What's your thoughts on Wednesday's game versus Boston, D?
Hey, listen, it's in the Garden, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that Garden going to be, forget about it. That Garden's going to be lit, bro. And it's very important that our Knicks come out lit as well. I'm talking about the whole 9-man. Because I have a feeling Tibbs. No, I'll play it out because Julius needs rest. But you know, the whole 10-man he's gonna play, they're gonna have to come out. And that's a really sticky game, especially as a divisional rival, stuff of that nature. You want to come out, you want to punch in the mouth early. I think it's very important that the Knicks come out very sharp. You know, plug in the holes that we saw in the preseason. Make sure to keep the crowd engaged. We don't want no low points. We want a team that looks like they're going to compete in the playoffs again. Not only the playoffs, but also compete to get past the first round this year as well. I think that would be very enjoyable to watch. I think it's going to be lit. I think it's going to be a lot of energy and stuff like that. We just want to make sure we're going to see up close and personal how much this size is going to matter. And we also want to see how much Tibbs is going to go to Josh or RJ at that 4. We'll see how long that lasts for.
Yeah. I think that I was so confident and feeling upbeat about that first game against Boston because of those reasons I already mentioned. But this one's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And if the Knicks do somehow come out the gates fresh and looking good against Boston and they make a game of it and it's down to the wire and the Knicks lose, I'll be very okay with that because I know that they played a good game. Boston might have just been that much better, just a little bit better. But if they win and they play their game and it looks like Knick basketball, because I think the Knicks have graduated to Knick basketball again. It's a different brand of basketball than maybe in the past, but I think they have something that they call Knick basketball. I think their style of defense and I think the way they score with the rebounding and the putbacks, the second chance opportunities, that's Knicks style basketball these days. So if they play Knicks style basketball, they have a good chance of competing to win and possibly winning the game. So yeah, I'm with you though, D. I agree that that's interesting. Jet for Life, my guy, what's good? Jet Life for Life, appreciate you. Salute, what's good? Hope you're doing well, man. And I already shouted out David Smith earlier, but Knicks won today. Salute to you. Appreciate you, my brother. Good to see you. Smash that like button. Show your support. Like my guy Mega says, show support. Hit that like, comment, share, subscribe on your way out, man. Please do. And if you need some visual reminders, I'm always for stimulating the brain. You know what I mean? Yes. So please do hit that like button. It costs you nothing, but it means a lot to the show.
I only got 57 right now. Let's at least get it to 70.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, come on, man. A-Train, what's good, A-Train? It's been a minute.
It's good, A-Train.
He said, missed the show, we'll catch the replay. Knicks needs to hold down home court this year.
Yeah, ain't wrong about that.
They definitely do. They definitely do, brother. Danny Landis said, Ron and D, I think players will want to come for sure once Tibbs is gone.
That'll be an indictment. Jeez.
That's the writing on the wall right there, Danny. I don't know. Like, according to some of them stupid polls and stuff that they do, maybe you're right. I don't know. Well, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what's best for the Knicks. Do you think it's best for the Knicks if the Knicks come out and get a hot start, right? And then wind up showing and proving throughout the first half of the season and really surprising a lot of people going into the trade deadline with a healthy roster, healthy looking positioning in the standings. Maybe we're third or fourth. Or is it better for the Knicks to stink it up and they fire Tibbs and we take this team in a different direction? I don't know. I'm probably going to go with the continuity of just us hoping to continue what we've been doing, only because I know it takes so much time to switch something around and new systems, new coach and all that stuff. And do we have the right players for that coach? But what's your thoughts on that, D?
Wow. So because in your scenario, let's say, for example, we get off to a really bad start, it Tibbs is a scapegoat, right? Then who would take over? Most likely your candidates would be either Daddy Brunson or Johnny Bryant, right? So I think, me personally, I've always been, if that was to happen, I was always in favor of Daddy Brunson because Daddy Brunson has been there forever with Tibbs. So although it's a different voice, you're pretty much engaging into the same type of system and principles as far as what it is that they expect for their players. Now, of course, he's going to have different wrinkles and stuff like that, and maybe different angles as to how he approaches it. But more than Johnny Bryant, and I understand that Johnny would be next in line for that, but knowing CAA, knowing their nepotism, knowing how they do their business, I would see Daddy Brunson there. But even whoever it is, it don't matter. You're still got to. Now you're playing for the coaches for Jaylin Brunson's dad now. How does that work exactly? Do certain players feel a certain way about that? That's very interesting dynamic. But you still have to work chemistry. It's still going to take time. Usually like when that happens, those replacement coaches or those interim coaches never usually have a long, successful journey. I think the best example of that was, what's his name? The guy
Mike
that was
Miller?
No, but he didn't have a successful.
Oh, yeah, right.
The Nets when they had Kid.
Oh, yeah.
Little Frankie. Frankie.
Oh.
Little Frankie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
That will help us. Anyway, little Frankie, he was one of the better examples of that interim coming in and being hot and kind of stayed for a couple of years. That usually is not the case with that. So, don't expect percentages, patterns. I usually will side with that. And so don't expect that to be. So I'm thinking that they're going to ride and die with Tibbs. Unless, like, if it's like a 1-9 thing that Shirley brought out, then Dolan's holding a press conference and somebody's getting banished or fired or axed. But, I know Tibbs. Tibbs is those guys that, he's in a boxing match and he's not going to win, but he'll do everything possible in his power to make sure the fight reaches the cards. And that's what Tibbs is. So whether it's going great, whether it's going away, he's going to stick to what he is and what he does. And I do think it'll go a little bit quicker if you start off like 4 and 6 or something like that. Julius' minutes are going to tick up. Brunson's minutes are going to tick up. You know what I'm saying? Like RJ, and then a change is going to happen somewhere. And, you know, his 9-man rotation is going to be more apparent than ever. So I don't see Tibbs getting an axe early. I think he'll do everything possible in order for that to happen. I think what happened at Minnesota when that happened, there was a lot of things going on with that. There was an issue with ownership and the whole Jimmy Butler situation and stuff like that, and why he got that axe early. Because the same thing was happening to him in Chicago, where people knew he was already out the door type of thing, but they let him run his last year. I think he might have a similar situation here if it does come to that. But I hope I answered your question.
No, I think you did. I think you did. Okay. Yeah, and I think that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, all I can say is be careful what you wish for, Knicks fans that don't love Tibbs, because we already have a certain window because of Julius's contract and Brunson's contract. If you fire Tibbs now, I don't know. It's tough. I don't know. Maybe we got some continuity with like Daddy Brunson or something like that. But like you know, the track record of these coaches sticking around once they get that interim job and going, I don't know. It's tough. And then Wiz, you know, I'll still bring it up, but I think Mega already brought up a really good point, which matters to the point that you know, he says, I want to trade RJ and Fournier for Kuzma or Zach LaVine still. But you know, Mega brought up a good point. You know, he said, apparently you forgot that LaVine has stated he is not interested in playing with the Knicks. That's a really big point. It's a very important point.
And it also shows you about how the rumor mill works as well, where it's like they blew that up. They were like, oh, this is just about a done deal. And Zach's like the whole time, like, no, bro, I'm good.
Yeah. So now, could I see a way that this could happen? In theory, yeah. RJ for Kuzma, maybe. Fournier for Zach LaVine. You have to add more to that to make the money match. And I would expect at that point, that means Bulls are fire sailing, like, which could happen. The Bulls are in a really interesting spot where they could blow that whole team up because nothing has worked out the way they intended it to, and they could just restart. And that the Bulls might be one of the next teams to do that. We don't know, but they could be. And so that's a way you could get Zach LaVine in that way. You could make the money match, give them a bunch of stuff. Fournier's expiring, and maybe they'll take it. Maybe. Of course, they're going to want some draft picks too because they're rebuilding. That's the only way I could see it happening. But like to the point, once again, the fact that Zach LaVine said he doesn't really want to come to the Knicks. I mean, I don't want nobody that don't want to be here. Like whatever. That's like you walking like these gold digger videos on YouTube and stuff where the guy goes up to a girl and tries to ask her out, and she's like, "No, I'm good." And then she sees he's got a fly car. Oh, you know what was you saying? I couldn't really hear you.
That's right.
Yeah, man. Whatever. We good. We good. I'm good on Zach LaVine. I mean, I do think that he would fit the team right now after seeing what we actually have and what we don't have. I think Zach LaVine actually could work out here. I do think he could work out here. But you know, it is what it is. So
and the Kuzma thing I think is a pipe dream as well.
Yeah, I don't I don't think that, you know, and Washington's an interesting team, man. We got to see how they play for this rest of it, but they could be a fun team to watch. They could have some real interesting games over there where Poole gets busy, Kuzma gets busy, and they got some other young players over there that haven't really showed their full promise as of yet, but they might be on, like, you know, they got some shooting over there that hasn't really blown up the way you would think because of the guy's talents. Like there's some stuff over there in Washington, and you know, we'll see. So I don't know about that, but I know you've always liked Kuzma, Wiz. But
he loves him.
Yeah.
But you know, I had Las Vegas had the Wizards at 24 games. I had them at 28. I think they might win some games. I think Poole might have that type of season because he's kind of like off the leash, so to speak, now, and this is like kind of like his team. So he's going to jack up like 25, 26 shots a game, and it's going to be really inefficient, and it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, so, I agree, which is I'm mad about it because I was trying to get him in fantasy and he was gone. I was like, damn, these people are all over. Of course he is. I'm like, he's going to go nut this year. Yeah.
Especially at the start of the season, he going to be making people some money at the beginning of the season.
Might kind of be reminiscent of Gilbert Arenas type stuff when Gilbert was going crazy when it was his team.
I think you could argue that he's the best scorer that's been there since Gilbert.
Ooh. Even over heyday Bradley Beal?
I don't think. I mean, Beal can score, but Poole, I mean, he's kind of different, bro.
I don't know. There was one year Beal averaged 31 per game.
How much?
It was prior to him starting to get hurt and stuff. That was a different Beal.
They're different scorers.
Yeah.
If that's for the NBA jockeys, that would make sense to them. They're different scorers. But I'll talk about like that explosiveness, like he could score 18 points in a matter of minutes. Beal wasn't that type of guy. He'll do it more in a progression of quarter to quarter.
Right. And you know, Poole has some athleticism to him. Yeah, he's different. A little different there. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, you know, it is what it is. We got to see, guys. There's going to be a lot of question marks for the season. This is my mantra for starting off a season. It's not going to be as good as you think, but it's not going to be as bad as you think either.
You have a mantra. Nice.
Yeah. That's me. Mantra Ron. Anyway, any last words, D? Anything you got going on? What's next?
Yeah. Not big. Next Thursday, we will be on post game. We're definitely gonna go over the first game and stuff like that, and going down with a fine comb tooth. Almost had it there, but we're gonna go into detail for detail. You know, we did that in the preseason. I told you guys this year that I would sit you more like at a coach's seat. We definitely see more film, you know, and break it down a lot more, different aspects of the game and stuff like that. And that's definitely going to continue come opening night. I also want to keep something else in mind too. I hear guys, you know, and you know, and you're saying you might not be as good, it might not be as bad. You have other guys saying 7th seed. You have other guys saying we're not as good as last year. I really do plead. Of course, you guys could do whatever the hell you want. It's your fandom. But I would really plead to really hold a point with this organization, because you have to get better than you were last season. And I'll show you a prime example of that. Hawks made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, right? They got bounced the first round the next season, and then they fired Nate McMillan midway, which they took too long to do that. You see? Because you can't regress. You can't come back with the same team and regress and barely make a... You can't do that. That doesn't spell good for the team. Unless if it's like a major injury or something like that. Then it's like, okay, obviously that guy wasn't there. We know that we regress because of that. I think it's very important as a fandom that we keep them at a very high standard of 50 wins, Eastern Conference Finals, stuff of that nature, because the point is to get better from a year-to-year basis. You're in no condition to go ahead and take it a step back. Because what happened first year, we surprised people the Cinderella season, and then we regressed. And people were up in arms about it, bro. And most people were up in arms when we acquired Jaylin Brunson, because they were like, we didn't get that much better. You see, so what I'm saying is that the pattern exists and it's real. And that you want to hold them to that standard, because if it doesn't work out this season and Tibbs is the scapegoat, you best to put the front office right there with them, because inevitably it is primarily their fault, because they are the ones that constructed the roster. And knowing that Julius Randle was 29 years old, and knowing that Jalen Brunson's in the second year of his contract and he's getting older and stuff like that, you want to make sure in your 3 to 5 year windows, right, you do what you can in order to get your team to the best possible place possible.
Yep.
And I'm done with that.
That's fair. I can say that that's true. Like, yeah, accountability is very important. We'll see what happens. But I think that David Smith. No, I don't think anybody's deleting your post, David Smith. I may not be getting to them because there's 63 people here putting stuff in the chat, but no one's deleting your post. So, and I know you mentioned that the other day, you thought someone was deleting it. Nobody's deleting your post. I can't get to everything. And at some point, I hope to be at the point where this chat is big enough that I won't be able to read a lot of them. But that's the growth of the show. I hope that it comes to that point. No, he says no, they're getting erased. Oh, no, I don't know who would do that unless are you putting any profanity in your post? Because if you're saying this is for, and this is just like a little message to anybody. I'm not saying you are, but message to some of you guys out there. If you put anything that looks like profanity, it could be even damn. Sometimes damn. I don't know, but this is YouTube guidelines. They will hold the message, and then someone from the chat, myself too included, but someone from the chat who is a moderator has to go in and improve the message so that it shows up. So I just want to keep that in mind. So like if you say, for example, Julius Randle is trash and his game is ass. Oh, I cursed. Yeah, you heard it. If you say that in the chat, it will not show up. You just know that you posted it, but it will not show up. It'll come to the moderators and myself, and then we have to see it and actually click on it and approve it so that everybody else can see it. I'm not saying that that's the case, but I'm just saying that's an example of when your post will not show up. So I just wanted to put that out there for you. So maybe that gives you a little clarity, but maybe not. Yeah, I mean, well, thank you, Knicks 100. He said no one should touch anything but you, Ron. Well, yeah, but that's why I need you guys to help. You're a moderator yourself. That's why if you see somebody put some porn site or something crazy in the thing, I need you guys to get it up out of here. That's why. That's where you help me out. So, no one should be policing the chat. I will say that no one should be going crazy.
I had to change the mod list on mine because I saw that people were getting blocked and stuff like that. So just be careful.
Yeah. That's interesting. Well, you know, here's one way to settle that. And I'll do this. You know, I give the power. I can take the power away as well.
That's it. You're all fired. That's it.
I will do this. See? Now you're a moderator, David. Okay. So now your stuff should be able to be seen. So you shouldn't have that issue going forward. But if I see some stuff that's crazy, then, you know, obviously I got to do what I got to do. But I think you're good. I don't think that's the issue. So I'm sorry about that. And hopefully that fixes the issue. Now, that being said, guys, I appreciate you as always. You know what I mean? I love the going back and forth that you guys do in the chat when you guys have really good ideas and you kind of spur thoughts off of each other, and it just helps the community overall. That's what helps our Knick fandom and what allows us to be the smartest fan base in the NBA. You know what I mean? Come on now. So please smash that like button. Yeah, Andy, because you're MBK. I don't think it even matters. You're already family, but you should be though. You should be.
I think what Andy was throwing out there is that he wants to be a moderator.
Yeah. I see what Andy's doing. Andy's very subtle with what he throws out there. Got to watch this guy, Andy. Let me see here.
What do you got?
There you go, Andy. You get a new car. Now you are a moderator as well, Andy. There you go. Nah, Knicks 100. Nah, I'm not giving nobody your moderator. You know why? Because even though you may not be one of those that likes to go about policing different things in the chat, maybe you don't pay attention to it. Maybe you don't want to be bothered by it. You got that moderator blue symbol because you were one of the first people to follow our shows. When we had 5 people watching, you were one of the 5. and I respected that for you, and that's the reason why I gave that. So even if you're not holding up to the moderator example, I like the fact that I see your name and I see blue under it, because it just shows me that, you know, I remember who you were, one of the day ones here. Nice. You know what I mean? So and
look at Sneaky Wiz here, putting himself in the nomination ballot. Look at that. Now he wants the
power. Listen, you know, moderating is something that we all should strive for at Nick Fandom. That's right. Everybody should strive for how can I become a moderator on Still Nick Fans? That's what you should look for day and night. That should be in your every waking moment. Okay. All right. I'm done. Anyway, I will kind of take a look at that a little later, because, you know, I do have to clean up some stuff. There's a couple moderators that aren't even around anymore. They just not in the Nick community. So I don't know what happened to them, but yeah, I'll remove some of those people and add a couple new people as we go forward. Yeah. So anyway, as I always say, guys, tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still Nick Fans will be back again, whether it be on Saturdays at 11:30-ish. Today I had to do the show a little later. I had to go to the store. I had to come back. I had to get something to eat. I was starving. It is what it is. You know, you got to deal with me. Look at it. I'm rocking for 3 hours. Bear with me, folks. Then, you know, if that's not enough for you, you can catch us on Mondays at 9 p.m. for SKF Weekly with your man Ron and John and my brother Jose holding it down on the ones and twos. And then, of course, we have Thursday nights on NBK Nothing But Knicks for the NBA wrap-up, where we hit you with a combination of NBA and hip-hop. Two things in one show. You've got your fill of both. You can stay for both, or if you just want to be a part of one and not catch the other, or vice versa, that's up to you as well. But you have an option there. So please support that show. That's Thursday nights at 8:30. I will tell you right now, this Thursday night will be pretty cool. I think you guys will enjoy it. Our special guest for this Thursday is Roger Mooking. You may not know who Roger Mooking is by me saying his name, but I will tell you, if you watch any Cooking Network shows, if you watched Man Fire Food or anything like that, you'll see him. You know his face. You've seen him before. If you watched any of that, you definitely know who he is. He's been cooking for sure. He has his own restaurant in Toronto. He is also a hip hop head who has been rapping since 2015 to maybe longer than that. He's won the Juno Award in Canada for best hip hop artist. So it's a lot of surprising things you find out about people that you never knew. So he will be on the NBA wrap up on the second half of the show. I mean, he'll be on the whole show, but we'll get into the second half and get into his hip hop thing. He's been doing this for quite some time. He's been on Sway in the Morning doing freestyle. He's been out here for a minute. I didn't even know, but it's really cool. And that's about it, guys. That's our show. That's all, folks. And one last time before we get out of here, please, on your way in, on your way out, watch the replay, but definitely smash that like button, please. I appreciate it.
Let's get to 70. Please.
Yeah, I mean, if you could, I mean, if it's not too much trouble, man, I appreciate y'all. And let me do this too. I'm just gonna do it. I don't, like I said, because I always forget. I swear to you, I forget every single time. Please don't forget. You know, if you want to show your love for the show, boom, that's the Cash App. Still Nick Fans. You know, and also we have the Patreon, which I don't like to promote the Patreon too much, because I want to be able to give you guys some Patreon type, you know, content. And I right now, a lot of stuff that I was trying to do with the audio podcast and stuff like that hasn't come to fruition, because that was going to be a part of the Patreon thing, and stuff of that nature. But it is what it is. But that's the other peripherals: Cash App, Still Nick Fans, and SKF Patreon. It is what it is. So you guys see it. Thank you for any support you give. Thank you for always giving the generous super chats. But I will echo D's sentiments with that, because he is very true. When you guys give the super chats, while we appreciate it, YouTube does take a hefty portion of it.
Sure.
So Thank you, and always keep that in your minds if you do want to contribute, because it all helps the show. It helps me paying these monthly fees for these different programs I got going on, and eventually I'm using whatever money I get to kind of help with equipment, getting a new mic, getting an additional camera. I want to give us a second camera, and to give a different look and stuff and whatever. But blah 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 blah. That's all a bunch of talk. Okay, you get it. You get the point. All right, thank you guys once again. I appreciate y'all. D, as always, it's a pleasure having you here, chopping it up.
Appreciate it. Thank you for
really good. No problem. And thank you to the chat once again for keeping me on my ones and twos and making sure that whatever I miss, you guys get me right, man. I appreciate that. So shout out to all y'all. Thank you once again. Have a great rest of your Saturday. And if you are free and are coming out in the city, by all means, head over to Legends NYC, 33rd Street, 6 West for the NBK kickoff. So that should be pretty fun. Yep. So check that out. All right.
Hey, everybody.
We are out of here. Where the hell's my freaking outro? Where's my outro? There it is. All right, we out of here, man. Oh, hey, listen, I haven't done this in a while, so just so to keep you on your square, hey, make sure what you guys are saying in the chat is not some wild stuff that I have to hit you with this for.
See if I know the ledge.
Yeah, man, it's been pretty good lately, but it's always there in the back pocket. Jumping out the window. Calm down.
It's going to be there this year. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I'm sure it will be. All right, we out of here. Guys. Take care, y'all.